Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom!
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right. I haven't touched anything since yesterday. That sounds weird. So I guess the question is, how's the audio? Really? It's a fun bit that we do every day.
Can you hear Dave?
No, is he on yet?
You guys.
I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddlesome kids.
So here's why you kind of got away with it, is because a little inside baseball here. Normally, I have a display here for StreamYard, and it doesn't show the mic on, camera on, off toggles that I usually have, so I can manually turn my mic and or camera on.
How are your toggles?
So I don't have any toggles. They're just on, and that worried me. Then I realized, oh, I have to move my window up. Hey, look, there they are. So I can turn my camera off and on. The sad thing is I'm actually pretty tech savvy, you would think, but I do the dumbest crap. Now, I saved this for you guys. So this is for everybody on YouTube. If you're listening, sorry, just a little YouTube stuff. And, you can watch us on YouTube. Go to Sacktown Sports. Since yesterday, I have acquired a new lighting system, and I have installed it. So I wanted to do the reveal live, and you guys tell me honestly if it's better or not. Okay, so this is before I turn on the lights. All right, now ready? Boom. Now the lights are on.
Okay, I'm going to be on delay because I'm watching through the YouTube.
Yes, you're gonna be on delay in about 3, 2, 1, go. Lights, lights, and lights, and lights,
and lights,
and lights,
and the lights are going to be here after I say 3, 2, and 1. Are the lights on?
That's quite a delay.
It is.
Wow.
Still waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it.
Okay.
I mean, I know they're on.
There they are.
Wow. What is that?
Yeah.
Like a freaking 30-second delay?
Well, I'm using.
You're on the YouTube.
I have an
feed.
Atari.
You have the old Atari 2600.
Yes.
So I've
been playing Pitfall.
Yeah, Pitfall's a great game.
Honestly, I think there's there's ways you can divide people. There are Beatles fans and Rolling Stones fans. There are Depeche Mode fans and The Cure fans.
That's not true. You keep saying it, but it's not true.
That got him rankled.
It always does, but like, dude, you've never had the whole one or the other conversation.
No.
That's a real thing. Cure fans versus Depeche Mode fans.
People are people, Dave.
So why can't it be right? No, I hear you. And there's people like me that are like, I'm a huge Depeche Mode guy, and I could do without The Cure. And then there are a lot of other people that are like, are you kidding me? The Cure is like classically amazingly awesome, and Depeche Mode's a total ripoff.
You're just talking about people with opinions, though.
You got me there.
Burned.
You can't like both of them.
Oh, you can.
Who are these people with these opinions?
They're the people.
Huh.
It's like wearing an A's Giants split hat.
Yes.
You're just talking about people with opinions, Dave.
Come on, crazy talk.
Well, it's like, oh no, you have to. It's like, well, just like you said. Oh, you either got to be an A's fan or a Giants fan. You can't like The Cure and like Depeche Mode at the same time.
I mean, you can if you'd like, but they used to gather outside each other's concerts. You don't remember this? They'd get in huge brawls. People would have their Depeche Mode shirts on. People would have their Cure shirts on.
Sounds like something Cure fans would do.
Yeah, probably. So when it comes to back to Atari 2600, which is where I was going. By the way, look, we never got a grade here. So are you guys okay with the lighting now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you look like Depeche Mode in concert.
It's growing on me.
What, the lighting?
Yeah.
Okay, so in order for
it's just because in the background it's so dark.
So back here?
Like, yeah, to like your right corner, like where the door is and stuff like that. It's so dark, so it's kind of like jarring that you're
like it's kind of like when when I do the Palm Springs shows in the morning, and it's like is it the glowing like I'm going to tell a story thing? Okay, so
are you gonna jump in the pool?
Not this one, dude. No, I mean there's different levels, but I think this one. I think
that's the best one.
That's fine. Anyways, Atari 2600. Depeche Mode, The Cure, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Pitfall, Jungle Hunt.
Pitfall.
I'm a Jungle Hunt guy.
I don't even know what Jungle Hunt is.
Dave, there you go with one of those opinions.
I know. How do you know what Pitfall is? Aren't we getting back to the lead?
I was surprised.
Yeah.
My cousin had an Atari, and she had Pitfall.
Did you play it all the time?
A little bit. I remember like not being able to get past the first part, so then I just quit. But I just want to get on the vine and jump back and forth on the vine.
I think they were spiritual cousins because Jungle Hunt had, I want to say, they had 3 levels. There was one where you're swinging from the vines. I think that was the opening one. And then there was one where you're swimming with the alligators. And then I forget what the third one was. But Jungle Hunt. Jason, do you remember Jungle Hunt?
Yeah, I think I was definitely a Pitfall guy, and I remember it being so great. Now I just Googled it and looked at the images. Boy, was the quality not very good, but it seemed like it was.
I've thought about that before. Like, how we've had the whole conversation where, like if we took our phones back into the 1940s, we'd be like wizards and stuff, right? Like we'd be magical.
Go back to the 40s.
Right? And so, someday someone's gonna. So it's kind of, I was playing this video game while I was sick because I was quarantined, couldn't leave the room, and I hadn't played video games in a really long time. So I fired up the old PlayStation, and I was playing this game called, what's it called? Horizon Zero Dawn. And it's you play this girl and she goes through and there's these machines that have taken over the world and you gotta like do stuff, right? So I'm playing this is just a gorgeous video game. I mean it truly is a beautiful video game to watch, and there's a lot of those out there. And I think about games that you and I grew up on, like Jungle Hunt, Asteroids, Zaxxon, Defender, Joust, Galaga. And then it's like, imagine if you had a weekend at a buddy's house and you were playing one of these next gen consoles then. What would that even, like, does their natural, like we talk about evolution of the athlete and how records continually need to be, are going to be broken, right? You don't see like somebody go from like a 4.440 to a 3.940. It's always 4.3, 4.2, 4. They're gradually broken. You have to have that buffer there. I feel like that just like minds couldn't handle today's video games back then.
No, but because there was the slow progression, the adaptation, right? I mean, if you had Atari, it couldn't be much more basic than a joystick and one button.
One button.
And so,
don't forget the paddles.
And then, then if you had, what was the one?
Intellivision.
That had that like 1 through 9 and the circular, kind of disc thing at the bottom. You adapt to that. Then I remember when, eventually when you got to like the first run of Nintendo, it was like, whoa, 2 buttons and an up, a down, a left and right, like with just a different kind of thing. But you adapt.
Nintendo
but jumping right to what today is from any of that would have been pretty extreme.
I think it would be like back in the 1920s when people were flipping out when they'd see a train in the movie theater. Like you would just think that the TV came alive back then.
A train in the movie theater?
Yeah, you didn't hear those stories?
No.
Like right when like movies started to become a thing, like they would see the train coming at the screen and people would freak out.
Oh. I was like, there's
like
an
coming at them?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I wonder what the first like 3D movie showing was like. I don't remember that, but you remember the like white glasses with the red eye and the blue eye that they give to you. And I don't remember even the first time I saw a 3D movie in a theater, but it had to be a little bit scary.
Yeah, and I remember looking at people watching it while I was in the theater, maybe taking my glasses off or looking at them, and you could just see a bunch of people like moving their arms or just thinking stuff's coming. You know?
I think mine was Captain EO was the first 3D movie I saw.
Chris, that might be you know what? Circle might get the square there. I think that actually might be my first 3D experience as well. Captain EO with Michael Jackson down at Disneyland. That was that's a really good call, by the way. That was an experience back in the day.
Mine was Zapped.
Zapped in 3D would have been amazing.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned in television because not a lot of people. Just imagine you have this square or like rectangular controller, as Jason described, and when you would play a different game, you would have this plastic little sheet that you would put in the controller that would go over the buttons that would adapt the controls to each game. It's actually funny when you think about it now.
What are you talking about?
No, like
you would have different plastic sheets for different video.
That is correct. Think about like, Chris, I'm sure you've used some sort of editing software before, and they have the little layouts they put over the keyboard for the hotkeys and all that. Well, it was kind of a miniaturized version of that. So I don't remember what the flagship game was for Intellivision, but I want to say it was Burger Time. And so you'd play Burger Time, and you'd put the Burger Time sheet in there to know which buttons to control. And then if you wanted to play like Intellivision Tennis, you'd move that one out. And I can't remember, Jason, do you? What was it? Was it a cartridge? I can't remember the medium for Intellivision.
Yeah,
games.
I think there was different cartridges, and then you're right. You had the sheets to correspond. You'd slide that into the top, so it was like a 1 through 9, right?
Yeah,
and then you know, it might be as basic as 2 was up. What would that be? 8 was down. 3 was left, and you know, or whatever. 4
like
and
5 was jump.
Yeah, and in different games you would use that. So it seemed to make sense. And what was the game right after that? ColecoVision.
ColecoVision, yes. Then you had the Commodore 64 come out. That was a big gaming system back in the day.
Yeah.
And then the video game industry, it's actually a fun rabbit hole to go down. It almost died. It literally almost was. It was pretty much dead. And one of the things that really killed it, I think there's a documentary that mentions this that I saw, was the video game E.T. for Atari.
Oh yeah.
Which was like the all-time floppiest game ever, like just crashed and burned. The game's, I actually thought the game was fine, but I remember playing it, but it apparently wasn't. And then when Nintendo came out with Super Mario Brothers and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and Double Dribble, I think were their 3 launch games, if I remember correctly, it completely revolutionized. Like, that was it. And now it's the video game industry is bigger than the movie industry by like a large margin. It's kind of ridiculous.
Hey, Dave, if we want as a show, we could buy some original overlays for Mattel Electronics and Television. A lot of 15 for $16.99. Now, I don't know what we do with the overlays, but those sheets you're talking about.
You know, the concept of going back and playing retro games is really interesting. I think I've brought it into the studio before. I have this like console that you can carry around that plugs in with an HDMI cable. It has like 1,000 old school games on it, like Commando and
Paperboy.
Paperboy, Frogger, which Paperboy, the problem with Paperboy, and then some people may remember the old Star Wars video game, you have to have the actual controllers, the handset. Same thing with, like, I was always a huge fan of Pole Position and Road Blasters, but it doesn't work without, you have to have the steering wheel. You know, but people today, they don't realize that, or they don't remember, you know, go to a pizza place with your parents or whatever, and you get maybe 2 quarters. And the whole thing there was like the stress and pressure of knowing you had 2 quarters to entertain you the whole time till the pizza got there. And if you just went and played some rando game and you lose and it sucks, you're out your quarters, you're done. So you had to be really strategic as to what game you'd play to extend your fun.
Yeah. Did you ever have a situation where you had to wait in line, so you put your quarter on the machine, you know, like the stack of, like to win your turn was? How do we all know, like, where your quarter was in place?
Well, you gotta, yeah, that's true. You had to watch your place in line, and the issue was, when the fighting games took over, Street Fighter Two was really a watershed moment for in-house video games, and then Mortal Kombat came along, and so yeah, you'd put your quarter up. The problem is there was always some douchebag kid there that got there right before you got out of school, and you knew all the stupid cheating moves that would happen. And so you put your quarter up, you'd play him, and he'd just stay on that thing all day long. And I would say young Dave in those situations, and I'm not proud of this, but every once in a while would get into an altercation because of this back when he was 12, 13, 14 years old, because Dave had no idea how to control his temper in those situations. And then it turned into a whole thing.
Did you have the right fighting moves? Did you hit the right buttons?
You can't do Hadouken all day.
Basically, the move on Street Fighter 2, and people will remember this that go back to the original, is that if they got you in a corner and you'd block their punch, they could punch you, you block it, and then they grab you and throw you, and then they run across the screen and they just continue to do the same thing in the corner, and there's literally no way out of it, right? And this kid did this to me like 3 times in a row. And then it ended up, this is a true story, for about 3 months, I was banned from the Pizza Hut on Marconi and Fair Oaks by the AMPM. And I knew the management there really well. They were cool people, but you're not allowed to shove people. You can't do it.
How old are you?
Oh, let me do the math. I was 12.
Shove Michael Dave.
This guy was just a D-bag. He still, to this day, it still angers me. It's like, bro, you're cheating.
Where is he today?
And he was, you know what? Where is he?
Yeah.
I hope I know where he is. In the 7th layer of hell.
Look, I found the place your life is going, in the garbage.
If you're wondering why we're especially avoiding the topic as we take a break, it's because this is the most fun, perhaps, conversation we're going to have all day long, as we have 3 hours and 37 minutes ahead of us. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll lead everything off with, shockingly, now stop me if you've heard this one before.
Stop.
Stop just because you heard it before?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Your Sacramento Kings come home off a road trip and a great win and blow a lead and lose. And there's the music for you. We'll take a break. We'll come back with leading off next.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Welcome to the March Mania sales event at Kia of Vacaville. Get ready for an extraordinary showcase of our 2024 vehicle lineup. Experience the latest in cutting-edge technology, innovative features, and the sleek Kia design that defines excellence. During March Mania, we're excited to offer unbeatable lease options on our top models. Step into the future with the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating performance. Explore the remarkable fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Discover the luxury and versatility of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending sophistication with practicality. Don't miss our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, perfect for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. And with the EV9 in stock, Kia of Vacaville is your destination for electric excitement. Visit us today during March Mania and take advantage of exclusive lease deals and special offers. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit the Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Bulls are looking for the lead in Sacramento as we approach 1 minute to go in regulation. Here's the lob pass inside. Vucevic out to White for 3. Doesn't get it. Back tap. Grabbed by Caruso to White. Swings to DeSumo on the far side. Then a bad pass. Chased down and saved at midcourt by White. Spins away from Keegan Murray. Drives inside. Slams into the defender with the off arm. And he scores. And Chicago takes the lead 111-109. 45 seconds to go.
That's my breakdown.
It's pretty accurate.
113, 109. I know. Yeah. It would be shocking and upsetting if it wasn't so damn predictable. And here we are. This is just today's theme, at least for I look, I've always said this is 100% a showocracy. I have 33% of the vote, but if it was up to me, today's theme would be unserious, because to me, that's what this team is sometimes. They're just unserious. They're frustrating. They're tough to watch. They're infuriating. And when you invest so much time into something that is genuinely supposed to be a distraction from the day, like if I want a buildup of anticipation only to be confronted with massive failure and disappointment, I'll go upstairs to my bedroom. I get enough of that in real life. But to spend 3 to 4 hours on that every other night and just not know what the hell you have, it is like a box of chocolates, except one day you get chocolate and the other day you get a crap-filled piece of nougat. And that's what we got last night. Yeah, it was gross. It was crappy poop-flavored poop. And
in your poop mouth.
It was in your poop mouth. And here we are. I don't hate this team. It's not personal. I like the individual players. I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I don't think they're tanking. I don't think they don't have heart. I don't think that they're getting paid off. I don't think any of the bad things you hear. It's like, no, I truly believe that they want to win. But damn it, today, Jason, I need to blame somebody.
Understandably. I mean, again, I don't even know how else to say. I mean, you've accurately described, I think, a lot of people's feelings. When it happens once, like, all right, I think we can all rationalize things and go, well, you play so many games, these things happen. I don't remember, and it's, again, I've said this many times, it's hard to put yourself emotionally into past seasons, how you felt after a Tuesday loss that you thought they should have won. But, Dave, there's too many. Like, the list isn't 2 or 3 of these type of games. And, you know, we kind of had some fun with the Walodies, like, oh, I don't think there could be anything worse than this. And then you get into games and you get reminded, like, yeah, there always can be things. And maybe it's not the worst loss of the season, but it's on a list. And you just go, why does this team even have a list of like substance? The list is pretty large of games that either make you completely lose faith in the team or just get so completely frustrated that, it's kind of surprising for, as I will say, as decent as their record is, and they can still get to all the places they want to go. All that is true, but it's like, it's just agonizing to know that they can be better. And for whatever reason, on some nights they do this to themselves, and that's where it gets the frustration part.
Frankie will join us later on in the program. We'll talk about this with him. Look, it's going to be a big day of we don't have the answers, and we're going to talk about it just to prep you for it. I don't have any room in my mind for excuses anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I
and sometimes I literally left that game going, and I had, you know, a few people reach out to me, and I go, I know you and I are paid to have opinions and discuss about it, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's wrong.
You're so true, dude. That's why I say this is, again, not personal. Don't take this out of context. But I once again believe that at this point of the season, and look, let's be honest. If they were to go and win, I will use the words of my dear friend Tom Morton at Hagen Oaks, who, when playing golf, will tell me to keep the thought in my head that if I hit a terrible shot or I blow up on a hole, hey, if you were to birdie 3 out of your next 4 and the back 9, you were to shoot the all-time best score for yourself on the back 9, would you remember hole 3 when you blew up? Of course not. So keep that in mind and clear your head. And what I mean by that, why I'm using that is, look, if they were to reel off 10 of their next 13, if they were to climb, let's say, the 4 seed, if they were to make the second or third round this year, we're going to be saying things like, well, we were wondering at times, but all in all, this was a great season for them. And there's absolutely still room for that. But right now, today, March 5th, 2024, this is the most, I'll say it again, this is the most unlikable Sacramento Kings team in the history of the franchise. And that's saying a lot. And we'll get into why later. Not personally.
Yeah.
Basketball wise, this is a very unlikable team.
But I love Tom's analogy. I think he's right. But the reality, Dave, let's say that happened and you birdied 3 of the next holes and had a score, whatever the score is kind of irrelevant. But let's say it was an 80, so an amazing score. and then you go, oh, if I wouldn't have had that 6,
so right.
I would have had a 78. It's like, yeah, just like this. If they win, whatever you said, 10 of the next 13, that'd be awesome. They keep moving up. They go, you know what? They could have made this a lot easier. They could have been 2 by now if they would have. I mean, that's just the way the reality works. And we know there's a long list of games that they could have won that they didn't.
And let me do a quick test before we move on, because you're 1,000% right. I'm just not sure if that reaction is for manic people like me. Jason, if that same situation on the golf course happened to you, would you feel that way, or would you be focusing on the good?
No, I mean, I think in the end, there's still the good, but I've literally had that happen. I think one of the first times I had my best score ever, and I was confused at the end with my last putt because I thought I missed it by 1, but I ended up adding wrong, and I had the score that I was targeting. And then at the end, you go, on 6, if I didn't double there, or if I didn't have that bogey, that was such an easy putt on. You still do that. You still play those games.
We're going to narrow it down to 2 here because we went long on the Kings. So real quick, let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
What's next for Russell Wilson and what's next for the Denver Broncos? Let's start with Russell Wilson. He's coming off a year in which he threw 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he believes he's still primed to play some of the better football of his career. He becomes a free agent, but what makes him so attractive now is this. The Denver Broncos will release him. So any team that is interested in signing him will not have to compensate the Broncos with any draft picks or players, unlike any team that might want to trade for Justin Fields. Not only that, but the Denver Broncos will be paying Russell Wilson $39 million this year. So any team that signs Russell Wilson will get him at a highly friendly team rate where they have to pay very little, if any, money at all. So that gives Russell Wilson a huge advantage over other teams. And I think there's a feeling around the league with some that obviously he struggled under Nathaniel Hackett. And because of that 1 year where he struggled and he bounced back some last year before being benched, that he will have some suitors in free agency. As for the Broncos, they have Jarrett Stidham. They'll start there. They'll explore other options. Wouldn't surprise anybody if Sean Payton identified somebody in the draft and drafted a young quarterback as well. But Russell Wilson's going in one direction. The Broncos are going in another, and we'll see where they both wind up.
All right, a lot to break down there. We got a break here, though. We'll talk about Russell Wilson at 6:43, also a big retirement in the NFL as well, some more NFL notes. When we get back, though, Jason's got the mouse and the clicker. He'll take you through the audio from last night's whatever that was between the Kings and the Bulls as we break down that farce next.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh, my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
By Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Tuesday. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies and a cool start to the day as we head through the afternoon on this election day. Might have a stray shower or two, but overall mainly dry with highs in the low 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia during their spring event and save big on your favorite models. You can even buy with zero down on approval of credit. Shop your trusted Kia dealership for over 25 years and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2120, Sacramento, California, 95814. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
A toast to our new college grad who fills us with so much joy, almost as much as when we're in our RV. Oh, the world is your oyster, kiddo, and ours too. Now that we're covered with Progressive, Dad and I can hop in our RV anytime we want. Might even splurge on a retractable awning. Ooh, look out. Sorry, what was I talking about?
Protect your loved one with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Hey guys, do you know your T level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
All right. Welcome back. As I said, I am at the home studio. By the way, I haven't said that yet. Jason and Chris back in the palatial Sacktown Sports headquarters, which means Jason's got control of the mouse and clicker, which is why it will sound far more professional today than when I do it. Jason, if you would, slide in here and take over, and run us through last night's audio highs and lows, I guess.
All right. Well, obviously, we'll do this in chronological order. We'll start with some of the better times for the Kings. First quarter was a little bit back and forth, but the end of the first was quite a run. In fact, 17-1 run, capped by De'Aaron Fox.
Monk has it. Shot clock off. 5 seconds to go. What's Malik going to do? Two defenders there. Gives it up to Fox. Gets into the paint. Reaches with the left hand. Scores at the buzzer. What a finish for the Sacramento Kings on the first quarter. 17-1 run with that one coming from De'Aaron first quarter Fox, if you will. 36-22 after 12 minutes.
Felt pretty good at that point, Dave, but also realized that, hey, look, it's the NBA. There's some comebacks that happen, and 14's, not insurmountable. And Chicago did a good job of coming back pretty quickly, making the second quarter interesting pretty early on into that second quarter. But by the end of the half, the Kings go on yet another run to close the second quarter.
Kobe White changes directions, dribbles it off his knee. It's grabbed by Keegan Murray. Races up the floor, splits defenders. Driving layup is missed. Chased down by Duarte. Duarte stops, launches, scores the three-pointer after he tracked it down on the deep left wing. 8 off the bench for Duarte. Kings are back up 7. What a wacky second quarter this has been.
Kind of a wacky team, aren't they?
Yeah, they're wacky. I had, you always, in today's day and age especially, you never want to offend anyone, and you get these mental health terms applied to this team, and obviously bipolar disorder, for example, is a real thing that affects real people. So you don't want to be insensitive here, but I don't know a better term from a sports point of view to apply to this team. They are bipolar. They are. You see that 17-1 run. I made the mistake, as I'm sure a lot of fans did, of watching the game at points, Jason, and saying, you know what? Wow, maybe we're finally going to have a nice, smooth home game. They've taken control, and we'll get a good 15, 20, 25-point home win like we should. Maybe that players-only meeting really took force, and here we go. Let's enjoy this ride, as we talked about for the month of March, a get-right month, if you will. But then this team, the other side of this team, reared that ugly, ugly head of its.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Look, it's about the end result, and the end result is a really agonizing, painful loss. But inside some of the game, like those couple of highlights there, and there's far more early on where they actually were good, and they did play good basketball. And so it's not only between games where they're up and down, inside a single game, inside a quarter where they're so drastically different at times. And if we take it to the second half, Kings would build. So, again, they had a 14-point lead. That was gone. Then they build it back up to 22, and things were cooking in the third.
On the run is Sabonis. He's already at the right elbow. Gives to her. He's going for 2 in a row. He's got 2 in a row. Kings have their biggest lead of the evening, on top 75-58. Back-to-back triples from Red Velvet.
Yeah, Dave, they'd get that thing to 22 points. And for the second time they've played the Bulls, first time they were up 30. And it got all the way down to 3. Last night it was up to 22, and we know what the end result was.
Yeah, we do. And as you said, it's not like this should have surprised them. They dealt with this with the Bulls before. Kobe White loves playing Sacramento. He has 37 points, which beat his old career high at Golden One Center, by the way. And when you give up a 36-18 quarter to close out, as they did to a team that was 28-32 and 12-17 away, is missing Zach LaVine. It just, well, I mean, I know we have the audio, but yeah, it's just so damn draining.
It is, and the Bulls took their turns. Desumnu started it out. Kobe White then got going, but the fourth quarter, you mentioned 36-18. The Kings were outscored by one guy in the fourth quarter. DeMar DeRozan didn't miss a shot. He could not be stopped.
Well, we get set to resume play. Chicago, 3.6. They lob it cross court. DeRozan has it. He spins on Keegan. He launches. He scores again. Keegan playing with 5 fouls, but he was still right in the face of DeMar DeRozan. And the All-Star now has 29, and it's a 4-point game again. It's 106-102.
Yeah, again, he scored 19 in the fourth, Dave. The Kings scored 18. Bulls were just, they just kept getting closer and closer. You mentioned this guy, Kobe White.
Fox at the logo, leans left, wiggles right, wiggles back left, gets in the paint and loses the ball. Chicago comes up with it. Caruso has it into the front court, looks to the right wing. White in 2-point range, drives to the basket and scores. The game is tied at 109, a minute 31 to go.
To me, David, to the other part, like there's a list of things, of issues from the game for the Kings, but one of the ones that agitated me the most was, okay, the comeback's happening. You can just sense it in the building, and once it's finally all the way there, and even in a tie game or one possession game in favor or down for the Kings, I thought their execution was absolutely awful after that. And that's the thing. It's like it's happened. It's painful. We could even be here today and talking about, oh man, so disgusting that they blew that lead, but still won. That needed to be the conversation today. But I thought, whether it was bad shots, throwing an inbound, out of bounds, afraid to take shots. It really felt like they played afraid to lose. That was what I kind of took from that one. And then Chicago just took the game from them.
We generally sing his praises, but I don't know what was going on with Trey Lyles last night. Everybody has stinkers, and the hustle was certainly there.
Sure.
But boy, he looked so tentative. 3 of 10, 1 of 6 from behind the arc. There was a point where Mike Brown had both Fox and Sabonis on the bench, and we're going to talk about Mike Brown. Yep. We're going to talk about that later. Also, Sabonis fouling out his second straight game where he's fouled out. And we haven't seen this since, was it the first year he was with us or the start of last year? But there was a stretch, I want to say maybe it was the first year he was with us, where Sabonis had a real big foul issue for about a month. And I think this is the first time we've seen that since then, despite 18 and 21 after he recovered from an early slow start. Actually took 19 shots on the night, DeMontis did. But to your point, Jason, there's no rhyme or reason, and maybe one of the extra knives in the back from this one. Late in the game, Harrison Barnes goes to the line. He misses the first of 2 free throws. And I instinctively went, here we go. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at the box score.
They were great.
I went, oh my God.
Yeah, they made the first 13. I think they only missed 2, right?
Yeah, they ended up 89% from the line, 16 of 18. So normally, that's one of the first things we're looking at. They were great from the line last night. The rebounds, they out-rebounded them 51-32. This was just simply a complete mental collapse.
Yeah, and the other part, like you brought up Sabonis, like that to me, Sabonis had the stat line looked good. He wasn't. He missed so many shots inside the paint. Fox started out great, but finished with 1 in the fourth. Malik had 11 at the half, 0 in the second half. It was a collective meltdown, and no one. The frustrating part is you play a team that had, I would say, 3 different guys in Dosunmu, Kobe White, and DeMar DeRozan that clearly could get on their own. And then when it came down to it, it didn't seem like, and it doesn't have to be a one-on-one game, but the Kings either couldn't run their offense to get a shot for somebody effectively, or individually they couldn't create enough, and they just couldn't turn the water off. I mean, once the Bulls got going, it's like they've played, I don't know, I know that we've used the term house money. It's like, let's just keep seeing how close we can get this. And they got all the confidence in the world, in Sacramento just really looked like they were hanging on not to lose.
And we talked about it yesterday, Jason. I believe we have to break here, but we talked about it yesterday. This is a team that other teams enjoy playing, and they know that no matter where the game is at, that this team can be broken mentally on any given night. And I think that gives these teams reputationally, that gives them more confidence than they should have.
Yeah, and you can't change that until you change it, right? Until you get into these situations and you get up 20, you're like, man, we just couldn't come back on that team tonight. And those games are, I don't know, maybe that list is far smaller than the opposite of what's happened to the Kings this year.
When we come back, the Herschel Walker trade from the Vikings is known as the worst transaction, at least for the Vikings, in NFL history, but they might have a contender now, as we'll talk about what's going on in Denver with Russell Wilson. We've got a final tally on that and a couple other notes around the NFL. We'll pause and cleanse ourselves in hand sanitizer from talking about the Sacramento Kings for a moment. We'll get back to them at 7 a.m. NFL next on Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
1 ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event. The Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at 2hugeshows.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 4/6. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey, it's Boost Mobile here with a great deal to keep you connected and help you make the most of your tax refund. When you switch to Boost, you get 4 lines for $100, plus 4 free 5G smartphones, like the Samsung Galaxy A15 or the Moto G Stylus 5G. We're here to bring you the best phones on America's largest 5G networks, so you can get after it. Switching is easy. Just head to your local Boost Mobile store for 4 lines and 4 phones for $100. Visit boostmobile.com for details. New customers only. Requires autopay and ID verification. Other restrictions apply. See participating dealers for details.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back.
You think we're this big happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples never fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right, so first off, I know that Russell Wilson's pretty easy to kind of bag on, and he makes it easy sometimes.
I find it very easy.
I don't have like a huge, I know he's dorky and goofy and, you know, there's some things he does or says I roll my eyes at. Don't get me wrong. I've never had the vitriol that a lot of people like. There's people that just straight hate Russell Wilson, and it is what it is. Nano bubbles and whatever. But I will say this. My goodness, there's no feeling bad for Russell Wilson today. From a professional point of view, he got a little bit screwed in Denver. Maybe you could make that argument. We'll get into it. But I'm not going to feel bad for a guy who, look, anybody here and anybody listening, if you got fired today and you had $30 million on the way, there's no feeling bad for you. Russell Wilson's going to be just fine. But the Denver Broncos talk about an absolute failure on all levels. They have announced that they will release Russ Wilson when the league year starts March 13th. That will carry with it a massive dead money cap hit of $85 million. They traded with Seattle, you'll remember, just a couple years ago for Russ Wilson, and then immediately signed him to a 5-year, $242.6 million deal. The $85 million cap hit is a new record in the NFL by over double. Matt Ryan was the old record holder at $40.5 million back in 2022. And when you look at the two below that, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, listen, that's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. When you look at what they traded to acquire Russell Wilson, it's even more insane the amount of picks, what Seattle has done with some of those picks, including the kid Witherspoon that's done so well on their defense. They continue to benefit from that. And what's interesting now, Jason, is there's an NFL team out there that is going to get a 35-year-old Russell Wilson. And let's be honest, Russell Wilson was far from perfect last year, of course. But you could see stretches there, especially under Sean Payton, of Russ not being as bad as he had been, I guess, is a way to put it. 15 games last year. He had over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. There's a lot of teams out there. That would take those numbers, and you immediately look at a team perhaps like Pittsburgh, Atlanta, and the one that I think makes all the sense in the world for all kinds of reasons, the Las Vegas Raiders, I think would take those numbers in an absolute heartbeat.
Yeah, I think people would take the numbers. They have to wonder. I mean, and I think the clip we played earlier from Adam Schefter makes some sense for teams on why he could land, because basically Denver's going to be footing the bill. So that's what maybe takes some of the risk away. But yeah, I know you said he'll be fine. And yes, he will be in the big picture. But I still believe that he thinks he's closer to the 9-time Pro Bowl or a franchise type QB. And if we're looking at teams like the Raiders, you mentioned the Steelers, the Falcons, maybe even Patriots, Commanders, I feel like he's just the stopgap, right, till the next person. And that could be fine. That could be his role here for a year, maybe 2 seasons, and maybe that's who he is now. But boy, did it not work in Denver, from whether it was the Hackett experience with him or him and Sean Payton. And, even at the very end, Dave, I would say at the end of his Seattle run, he wasn't quite the same QB either. So this isn't totally unpredictable, but man, did that totally fall apart for the Broncos.
When you look at what the Broncos did last year, it's easy to forget, but they had a 5-game winning streak at one point, and they beat Green Bay, Kansas City, had the bye, went into Buffalo, beat Buffalo, then came home and beat Minnesota and Cleveland, beat Cleveland 29-12. That was 5 in a row. Then they won 6 of 7, ended the year losing 3 of 4, and 2 of those 4, you had Jared Stidham starting instead of Russell Wilson because they benched him. So it's quite interesting, Jason, when you look at the team itself and the performance. You have a first-year head coach in Sean Payton that came in and, basically said, almost directly said, Nathaniel Hackett did like the worst job ever. There's a ton of stuff I have to clean up here. I have to completely change the attitude and the culture. And that's going to take a while. They were 1-5 when they lost in Kansas City on October 12th. They were 1-5.
And did they have that 70-point game they gave up in that stretch?
Yes, they did. 70-20 in Game 3 against the Dolphins to make them 0-3. They lost to Vegas, Washington, and Miami to start the year. Their first win out of the first 5 was in Chicago, in which they won by 3 in just a stinky poo game. But then they came back and again they win 6 of 7, and then in the final 4 they bench Wilson for 2 of those. And it makes you wonder, Jason, not only do you question the trade to acquire Russell Wilson, but then you bring in a coach in Sean Payton that looked like he was turning things around. You got a guy in Russell Wilson that put up relatively decent numbers. You had the winning streak in there. They were above 500. They were at one point, I believe, at the bottom of the playoff picture, but in the playoffs. And then you get rid of Russell Wilson and you're still paying him. It does make you wonder, why are they getting rid of Russell Wilson? And if I'm a team owner, Jason, if first off, I'm very rich. Secondly, if I'm a team owner, I'm looking at the whole. Look, I always try to apply stuff to real life. Look, if the show's ratings are terrible and you and I are hosting the show, but we're getting direction, let's say, from a program director that was controlling all of our content, and before we got here, the previous morning show also sucked, and that guy was still running all the content.
Yeah.
At some point, don't you look at the GM of the Broncos, George Patton, go, yeah, it might be him. And if Russ is going, this dude's got to go too.
Yeah, at some point, right?
I think we're at that. I think we're beyond that point.
Yeah.
I think it's a fireable offense. I think you got to go, and you got to give Sean Payton somebody that matches with him, that he can work with. But if you're going to have scapegoats here, it can't just be Russ Wilson.
Right, exactly. And for Payton, I still think he has some say in here, and he's been a guy that's had some very good offenses and made a great career with Drew Brees. So what does he want next? I mean, what are they going to do? They don't want to are they going to just get a young QB in the draft? And then we're also talking about where Wilson's future is. So, I mean, this quarterback carousel is something that happens every year, which I think is, in our minds, kind of fun to watch. But we'll have the draft where there's at least 3 guys that's going to go, maybe 4 in the top 10 or so. So, I mean, the need to find the franchise quarterback will always be something that's on the top of mind of all these NFL teams.
We will take a break when we come back, and more on this later. Also want to point out Jason Kelce retired yesterday. That was, if you get a chance, watch that press conference. Say what you want about, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and all the blah, blah. And, as a Niner fan, I don't need to see Travis Kelce anytime soon. But as a human being, that was a very emotional, a very good press conference. And hearing Jason Kelce tear up talking about as a kid playing with his brother and dreaming of what they've done. It's really cool that you're talking about one of the best offensive linemen of all time. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He helped bring a world championship to the Eagles. That is a well-played career for him. And in addition to that, Mike Evans gets a contract. Love to talk about this a bit later too. Mike Evans, I think, quite possibly the most underrated, if not certainly in the conversation for most underrated players in the NFL. We have the numbers to back that up. We'll take a break. Don't forget, Frankie is going to join us a little bit later at 9 a.m. We've got the Jiffy Lube Drive of the Game coming up here in about a little less than an hour. Coming up next, though, once again, the Kings waste a huge victory. And as a fan attending Golden One, I did hear this on the television. Is it okay to boo these guys? Is it okay to boo them when they're walking off the floor, as many did last night? We'll get into that and more next on your home of the Kings, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Flooring is your game. We'll help you win it. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor? Try. You want plumbing? You're out. LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Right. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopy. At
Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, appreciate you all joining us. Hour number 2 of 4. Frankie joins us at 9. We got plenty of conversations coming up between now and then. And as always, you can join that conversation. 1-800-920-1140. You can call us there. You can text us at 916-339-1140 and join the chat, Bob. And the Sacktown Sports YouTube page. Just go to YouTube. Hit up Sacktown Sports in the search box. Subscribe, like, and be a good person. There you go. That's Jason. I'm Dave. Christopher Law behind the glass. And last night, once again, as predictable as the unpredictable can be in sports, the Sacramento Kings favored by 6.5, coming back home after defeating the number 1 seed in the NBA on the road without their star in De'Aaron Fox, one of their 2 stars, without their other star for 4 of the 5 minutes in overtime. They come home fully healthy with De'Aaron Fox and blow multiple double-digit leads and lose on the home floor in a replay of a story we've seen many, many times this year. You can now add the Bulls to the Pistons to the Hornets and several other games, both at home and on the road, that the Kings, who are fighting for their playoff lives, not play-in, but play-in lives, we've seen all this. Earl says in the YouTube chat, that was actually an unpredictable loss. There's a lot of things that make the Kings lose, but they should beat the Bulls. I disagree. It was a very predictable loss. They were coming off a big win. The team they were playing was missing their biggest star. And they were coming home after a road trip. Look, 1-800-GAMBLER, we never encourage it, but I just got to think, if you're a gambling person and you put money against the Kings in 2 situations, let's say 3. If you bet on every game, Jason, in which A, the Kings were returning home from a road trip, or the Kings were playing a bad team after beating a good team, or they were playing a team that was without one or more of their best players. If you just kept you're betting for the entire NBA season to betting against the Kings in any or all of that situations, you're probably, depending on the amount you're putting down, buying a nice new house cash right now. It's incredibly, and sadly, incredibly predictable. And by the way, it's also the same reason why I fully expect this team to go down to LA, who just beat Oklahoma City last night, and pound them with Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then how are you going to feel? And just based on everything you just said, then the very next night when they host the Spurs.
The
right?
exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly. And that to me is where all this frustration falls in, because I think the last 3 road games that they've won, the Minnesota game, like you just chronicled, undermanned, and then losing Sabonis, going to OT, the win at the Clippers where they had everybody, but they played really, really well. It was a complete game. And the game before the All-Star break at Denver, those are those last 3 road wins. Great wins against good teams on the road. Gives you belief that there is more to this team. Like, that's the kind of confidence building where you go, if you want to make an argument for this team getting to round 2, it's like, here's my case. Then you have nights like last night and the whole list that you brought up where you just go, yeah, that team's probably going to be in the lottery. And that seems a bit drastic, but that's what they've done to people that have watched this game, because the highs and lows have been so drastic.
Would you believe, and this is a little bit skewed because of games played, but all but 9 teams in the NBA have more home wins or the same amount of home wins as the Sacramento Kings. As a matter of fact, the only teams in the Western Conference that have less home wins than the Sacramento Kings, the only teams, are the Memphis Grizzlies, Portland Trail Blazers, and San Antonio Spurs, who are the 3 worst teams in the Western Conference. Part of that is they've played a lot more road games. I understand that. But the Kings are currently 16-11 at home. They're 18-15 on the road. And just in case you're thinking, well, golly, that's an anomaly. No, it actually isn't, because last year, the number 3 seed Sacramento Kings were 23-18 at home and 25-16 on the road. Now, I don't know much of nothing here, guys, but I was under the impression that Golden One Center was one of the best home atmospheres in the entire league. I was under the impression that the fans at Golden One Center were some of the loudest in the NBA. Now, those are both true. This ain't on the fans. This ain't on the atmosphere. What the hell is going on at home for the Sacramento Kings?
Which, again, back to, hey, I don't know isn't a great answer, but sometimes that feels like that's my answer right now. I don't get it. I don't get it, Dave, where you're right. All those other parts are true. Great fan base. Place was loud when they needed to be. All that was in play last night. To me, the only thing I just as an observation, and you've watched all the games too, I feel like last night when they built a 22-point lead, they enjoyed it. I'm not saying they didn't. But I feel like when that happens on the road, there's a little bit of a swagger about it. Mm-hmm. Like, look what we're doing to you in your building. And they almost feel it, and there's a walk to them, and they go to the bench, and there's an attitude to it. I don't feel the same way at home. I don't know any other way to pinpoint it, but again, they're trying to win. All this stuff is what they're trying to do. But they come off as a little bit of an air on the road, like we're coming here to take something from you. As home, it's almost like, well, we're here, we're more comfortable here for whatever reason, and we're just going to win. And like I said, I think earlier when I said, it felt like last night they played not to lose, and you can't play that way. You've got, when that game's 22 in the third quarter, you've got to put them away. They know it. Leads aren't safe in this league, and the Kings should know it firsthand. They've done it far too many times.
Do we both agree, Jason, that it's not lack of skill?
Oh, of course not. No.
Okay.
They have the skill to build the 22-point lead. Now, I think there were some things inside the game that I certainly would question from the players to the coaches, though.
Glad you brought that up, because there is a conversation that we have yet to have, and I think it's okay to have that conversation. And I've avoided that conversation for the entire season because I don't like. Well, I usually don't like being overdramatic and overreactive. We have the reigning executive of the year, and we have the reigning head coach of the year, and we'll get to Monty McNair later. But is it time to start raising our eyebrows a little bit at Mike Brown Are we at a point right now where I fully believe that Mike Brown's not out there missing free throws. Mike Brown's not out there throwing balls out of bounds. Mike Brown's not out there giving up these giant runs. But at some point, Jason, we've seen this before. We saw who's the guy with Denver right now? Not Detroit. Who's the guy that got coach of the year, got fired with Toronto? I always blank on his name.
Dwayne Casey?
Dwayne Casey, thank you. We saw it with Dwayne Casey. We saw it with Doug Collins in Chicago when Phil Jackson took over. We've seen examples of really good coaches that come in and establish culture, turn things around, and then they hit a wall. And you can tell that there's a wall. And I'm not trying to say in any way, shape, or form, let me be really clear here. I don't think Mike Brown should be on the hot seat. I don't think Monty McNair should be on the hot seat. But I will say this. If, in fact, this team is barreling towards what we think they are, which is a 6 seed or worse, a first-round playoff exit, I'll tell you right now, if they end up being a 6 or below seed, and they end up being a first-round exit this year, both those guys got to be on the hot seat officially this summer. Both Monty and Mike Brown, I'm not saying fire him in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying the official notice, if that happens again, is, okay, have you guys reached a wall? And I think, and I don't want Monty in that position. I don't want anyone to be in a position of having to make a trade, having to perform. And we saw before he made the Halliburton Sabonis trade, in Monty's case, he was in the last year of his deal. He didn't force anything, and then boom, got it done, right? I don't think he's going to do that. I think Monty would get fired before he bent his ethics and forced a move to save his team. In fact, I know he would. And I don't want our guys coaching or GMing from that position, but at some point, somebody's feet have to be held to the fire. Somebody has to be a scapegoat, and usually that's your coach and or front office.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm with you. It's not like, hey, they need to go. That's not, but it's you talk about what's happening. Why do these constant things keep happening? Coaches are part of it. Players are part of it. Much like when they get have great things happen, they deserve credit too. There needs to be some blame. Like specifically last night, a couple points that I felt. I'm actually, the game's on a rewatch right now, and I don't even know why I have it on, but the Kings just had the point where they had their largest lead of 89-67, 22 with about a little over 3 minutes to go in the quarter. I thought the finishing lineup to the quarter, which, maybe there's an argument, hey, you're up 22. This is the time to get some of our better players rest. But they didn't have Murray, Sabonis, or Fox on the floor. And I don't think there should be ever minutes played for this team without Fox or Sabonis on the floor. I thought there were some questionable decisions late in the game. They couldn't figure out how to slow down the Bulls. Coaches have control of lineups, rotations, and we can always argue that, especially when they lose. We always point out, like, hey, why did this guy not play? And that feels like some people's catch-all as a reason they lost. But that's where the coaches have some input and some say in this, and I think it's more than fair to bring up some of those criticisms.
The Kings defensively have improved 3 spots. The Kings offensively have gone from 1st to 8th. Excuse me, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 1st to 8th. That's a net drop right there. As a matter of fact, Jason, the Sacramento Kings are 34-26, and what may be arguably the craziest thing about that whole deal is that the Sacramento Kings also have a point differential of plus 0.3, which, when you consider the point differentials of, for example, the Suns, who are a half game above them, it's plus 2.7. The Pelicans, plus 4.5. The Clippers, plus 4.7. Plus 4.2 for the Nuggets. Plus 7.6 for the Thunder. Plus 0.7 for the Mavericks, who are below the Sacramento Kings. The Warriors have a plus 1.4. And I get that those can be skewed. You can have huge losses. You can have huge wins that can skew that all across the board. But, Jason, we're now in game 60. We have 60 games completed. We have 22 left, and there are some trends being shown. You look at yesterday's game. Again, I don't necessarily put that on Mike Brown, but how are you going to have Sabonis and Fox off the floor that long? How are you going to leave in that lineup that is giving up that entire run? Where are those? What are we calling out of bounds plays? Where are those quick hook timeouts that we're so used to? There was one, I want to say, at one point that was a pretty quick hook, but At some point, are the players tuning you out? You're having players-only meetings. Why are you continually going from insanely massive victories like they had shorthanded without De'Aaron Fox, I repeat again, on Friday in Minnesota? Minnesota 23-8 at home. After the Kings got done with them, they have 2 of those 8 losses to the Sacramento Kings. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 24-6. The Kings won in Oklahoma City. The Denver Nuggets 24-5, lost at home to the Sacramento Kings. The Clippers 21-8, lost at home to the Sacramento Kings. And they're losing to the Bulls. They're losing to the Hornets. They're losing to the Blazers. They're losing to the Pistons. At what point do you say someone needs to be held accountable here and there need to be consequences?
Yeah, and I think, you finish the whole deal. You wait to see how the season ends to fully write that chapter. But inside of all of this is where you build that fact to decide, make those kind of decisions. And, last night, and another one I wanted to bring up, and I don't know what was said on television. We're there on the radio watching it. I just couldn't believe when it happened in front of me, Dave, so the Bulls caught him. They went ahead by 2. You could still win this game. Where I'm talking closing seconds. Bulls really are going for the knockout blow. They miss, and there was like a 4-rebound scramble. Loose ball goes to the sideline. Lyles dives for it, couldn't save it, couldn't call timeout in time. And so great effort, but okay, Bulls ball. And I want to say there was about 14.8 maybe to go. And they reset the shot clock to 14. Now, obviously you're down to, you're trying to steal. At that point, they inbound, I think it was to DeRozan all the way in the backcourt. And I looked down, and I could have sworn the benches of Jordy and Mike Brown's like, play it out. Like, don't foul. And I'm thinking, don't foul? Yeah. There's 14. If the Bulls took it all the way down for 14 seconds and shot with 0.1 to go, there would have been 0.9 left in the game. Like, you have to foul right then. And looking back here on the Kings fouled with 3.1 left. Like, I didn't understand that. That to me seemed like a big miscue by the Kings. 100%. Now they may not have won anyway, but that I didn't understand that at all.
And as we break here, I'm sure if we had them on the air, they would say that they were trying to trust their defense. They were trying to trap, maybe get a jump ball, maybe get a steal. I understand that. That's the first 1 to 2 seconds of the inbounds.
Right.
That's not bringing it all the way down. And
not
then
8 seconds of it, 11 seconds of it, what it took.
Right. And you're also not playing the Sacramento Kings, so odds are they're going to make the free throws when they count.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. When we come back, 3 for Madness brought to you by Fire Wings. What is it that the Sacramento Kings need? How do you feel about the game coming up? And which is worse, this or the inverse, the alternative? We'll talk about that. 3 for Madness on your home of the Kings, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Older than you really are, than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, 3 for Madness brought to you by Fire Wings. Coming up on the program, we'll go around the NBA next, including a superstar player missing the tip-off. And I want to update you on an ex-player as the Kings were choking away their lead yet again last night. I started going down a rabbit hole because I was trying to not put my head in the oven. And I found an interesting note I wanted to share with you guys. We'll do all that next. In the meantime, it's Christopher Laud with 3 for Madness.
Are the Kings in more need of a sports psychologist than any team in sports?
I mean, it's a pretty broad, I understand that, the whole caveat of, well, there's a lot of sports and a lot of teams. Of the sports that I know, of the teams I'm aware of, I don't know that there is a more Jekyll and Hyde team than the Sacramento Kings. I've been having a pretty long back and forth on the text line with one of our listeners this morning who said, you know, you're on drugs if you think this is the most unlikable team in the history of the Sacramento Kings. And again, I want to clarify that. This is actually, other than the 2002 team, probably my favorite team as far as personalities and human beings go. I love them. I think they're amazing. When I say most unlikable, you know, one of the examples brought up was some of those DeMarcus Cousins teams where he was yelling at everybody and they were winning 25, 30 a year. And, you know, those were some bad years. And those were some, you know, I did not like those seasons, but you have to find the nuance in what I'm saying. Those teams sucked. And they would lose, and you go, well, yeah, they suck. That's why they're losing. We expect what's going on. This team, to me, there's very little in sports I hate more than wasted talent, wasted potential, and unpredictability based on non-skill situations. And when this team continually loses to teams worse than them and they turn around and show that they can beat all the teams we listed in the past segment, that to me tells me that is a mental focus thing. That is a psychological thing. There is something between the ears that is not working, that is making this team that is a pretty darn good three-point shooting team somehow miss shots from 10 feet away when nobody's guarding them at the free throw line. In fact, the worst in the entire NBA. So from that perspective, Jason, this to me is, from a playing perspective, the most disappointing, sometimes frustrating, sometimes unlikable team we've ever had through all those years. And yeah, we've been saying it quite a bit. If it's not a physical thing, get in their heads, man. Sign them up. Get them the doctor, the psychologist from Sopranos. I don't know what you need, but get somebody to put them on a couch and figure this sucker out, man, because it's frustrating.
Yeah, the good news, I guess, is if they get to a series, a postseason series, they won't be put in the situation of playing a lesser team or overlooking someone or whatever the things that we kind of feel like they've been guilty of. But what could still happen, though, is, I don't know, let's just pick a team. They're playing OKC in a series, and they got a 25-point lead at home and they lose a game. Like, because of some of the season trends that happen, that would be very believable that they could do that to against a much better team. So, you know, some of these things and these habits that they're having and they're building give you, you know, reason for concern, reasonable reason for concern. I mean, this team has been frustrating. Again, they've won more games than they've lost. They've had some quality wins. We can list that. But we also can have a large list here of the frustrating nights. And last night feels like just like another one. And it did feel different than, for example, like the Denver loss, I think was a loss, right? Like they got killed, they got crushed, they played well early and then lost. But I think we didn't over dramatize that to any more than they played a good team that was kind of angry at them and they lost. But like last night was a game, as the players said themselves, they let slip through their fingers. That is one we should be talking to Dave about, a team that's 35-25, feeling better about them and maybe starting some sort of streak. Instead, it's here we go up and down again on the roller coaster.
3 for Madness brought to you by Fire Wings. Question 2.
Question 2.
After last night, are you more or less confident about a win versus the Lakers?
More, sadly. I really am. Like, how ridiculous is that, dude? I am more confident. I am more confident than had they won last night. It's so weird. First off, Domantas Sabonis is 8-0 against Anthony Davis, so there's that. That's fun to talk about. But also, they're going down and they're playing LeBron James and they're playing Anthony Davis and they're going to be under the lights and they're going to be focused and they're going to be ready to go. I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to win, but I'm saying I literally feel better about them beating the Lakers in LA than I did about them coming home and playing the Bulls. And that's not Monday morning quarterback and stuff. I was saying that yesterday, and a lot of people were feeling the same way. And that just is sad and kind of shows you where we're at as a fan base with this team.
Quickly, just off the top, Dave, give me a list of 3 or 4 of the worst losses this season in your mind.
Home Detroit, the historically blown lead against the Suns in Phoenix, home Charlotte, at Portland, and last night.
Okay, so I'm going to go off that list. So let me see if I can track this in order. The home loss to Charlotte the very next night. The Kings, the very next game, I should say, did win. They beat Orlando in double overtime. That was a tough one to get. That road loss in Portland the day after Christmas. The next night they won. The next game they won in Atlanta. What else did you say? The historically bad loss to Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, they blew that lead.
That one they did follow up with a loss at home to Indiana, so that was part of a 4-game losing streak.
They shorthanded Indiana without Siakam or Halliburton.
That's true.
We always forget about that loss too, by the way, which has every business in being in that list.
Yeah. Yeah, they've done it. I mean, they've come back generally for the most part. I think there was another one you had mentioned before that they came back and won.
Home Charlotte?
Yeah, they won after that game. So, yeah, I mean, matchup also, let's go there. They've matched up well with the Lakers this year. They've played them well. They I don't know that last night changed it. What I do want to say is maybe it gives me a little more hope, because generally when this team has had a game like this or they've been embarrassed, and look, they're going to hear it for a day or two until they play the Lakers again about how bad the loss is. They'll have a film session. They genuinely felt hurt. Like last night didn't feel like, I didn't hear a player go, well, these things happen. Like they were mad about it, which I appreciate because I think everybody's mad about it. And so I anticipate them coming out and playing better. It's just frustrating that it takes something like this to do it. So yeah, I have a little more faith that they will bounce back.
3 for Madness brought to you by Fire Wings. Chris Verlag, question 3.
Question 3.
Would you rather beat the good teams and lose to the bad ones, or vice versa?
I mean, look, let's not get silly here. I'd rather have a team that shows me that they can beat the good ones, beat them on the road, play at the top level, and lose to the bad ones, as opposed to a team that can only beat bad teams and can't beat good teams. Look, if that was the case, if the Kings had, let's say, the same record, but their record against teams above 500 was atrocious, I think we'd be the one optimism we can take out of this stuff is that, well, you know, when and if they make the playoffs, they're going to be playing all good teams, all above 500 teams. So maybe there's a chance it's like maybe the most frustrating thing, Jason, is that the Kings are operating almost like a championship dynasty. They're operating as we've seen with the Warriors, with the Lakers, with the Spurs, not so much the Spurs, where every regular season there's always that, hey, have the Lakers lost it? Have the the Warriors, or and then you look up and then 2 months later they're winning championships, or they're at least deep in the playoffs. I feel like the Kings are operating like a team that either won the championship last year or have won 3 or 4, whatever it may be. And it's like, bro, you were a first round out last year and Steph Curry put 50 on your head, and right. We forgive you for that. But you're still supposed to be the young, hungry ones chasing people. You're acting like the hunted and not the hunters, and they're 100% still hunters. So, yeah, to wrap that up, I'd rather it be this way, but this way also sucks.
Yes, it does, because this is the journey. This is the 82-game portion of it to get to where you ultimately want to go, and we're about 6 weeks away from the playoffs starting. And assuming that the Kings make it as a playoff team, not a play-in team, but assuming they make the playoffs, I promise you, Dave, we will be in a spot after the conclusion of that Portland game on April 14th, and let's say they get Minnesota, OKC, Denver, whoever they would get, you'd go, hey, you know what? They had a winning record against the T-Wolves. They had a winning record against the Thunder. They had a winning record against the Denver Nuggets. We could probably, at that point, no matter how the Kings get there, talk ourselves into thinking, Well, if it goes well, if they steal one of the first two on the road, I think they can win this series. Like, that's where we will be because they have beaten those teams. That's what we won't start thinking about the Charlotte loss and all these other disappointing nights. You'll have hope and belief because they have done it. We've got to go through this slog to get to that, but you just would rather not. But the point is that they have shown they can beat just about anybody and everybody in this league, and that's what gives you hope.
That's well said. And you hope that players-only meeting lit a fire under this team, and maybe it did, but that fire went out last night after the Minnesota win. And I don't know who it's incumbent upon to light a fire under this team. But if it's up to me, maybe I dial up to 5 the Nashville Hot Fire Chicken Sandwich with fire wings, which is locally owned and operated. 21 different flavors to choose from. And we talk about them usually a couple times a day. Odds are, if you're listening to this show, you have a Fire Wings near you. And if you're not sure, go to firewings.com. Tomorrow, Wing Day Wednesday, just 88 cents per wing, but you don't have to wait till then for good deals. You can go to firewings.com right now. It's, 7:30 in the morning. They're not open. But you can go there right now. You can make your order, and you can set it to pick up whenever the heck you want today during open hours. Get a Fire Wings lunch, get a Fire Wings dinner, heck, get a Fire Wings snack, if you will. All the wonderful flavors to choose from. Oh, yeah, and the hot Nashville chicken sandwich. That is oh so good. By the way, I went to 2, and that was good enough for me. Just some advice. Go to firewings.com. Find that location nearest you. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. Fire Wings. Just wing it. Let's go around the NBA. Some surgeries for some pretty big players and a really big player. Mrs. Tip-Off. Yeah, we'll explain what that's all about next, right here in Sacktown Sports.
Keep it here to Sacktown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Keegan Murray scrambles to save it. He gives it now to Barnes. 1 on the clock. Desperate 3 on the way. He scores the triple. Game tied at 121 apiece. 17 for Barnes.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Tuesday. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies and a cool start to the day as we head through the afternoon on this election day. Might have a stray shower or two, but overall mainly dry with highs in the low 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When it's chilly cold at night, don't just add another blanket. Add a new furnace system instead. Now for as low as $5,999 with 0% interest and no payments for 18 months. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
In the morning to get your sports fix. Live and local. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Couple of very important NBA hands in the news yesterday. We'll start with Florida State and Toronto Raptors Scotty Barnes. By the way, let me just pull out an old take I've had. As a lifelong Florida State fan, I've often said avoid Florida State players in the draft because they have underperformed based on college performance, perhaps more than any other major university. And that's actually true. As a matter of fact, Sam Cassell was an all-star 1 year, and then I believe you have to go back to Dave Cowens for the previous Florida State all-star in the NBA. And when you consider how many FSU players have entered the NBA since then and how good that program generally is, that says a lot. But Scotty Barnes is going a long way to maybe changing that tune, averaging a career-high 20 points, a little over 8 boards, 6 assists, 1.5 blocks, and over a steal per game in 60 games this year, all starts. But he may miss the rest of the season. He had surgery yesterday in L.A. to repair a fracture to the third metacarpal bone of his left hand. The Raptors say he is out indefinitely, and with the way that team is playing this year, more to the point, the way they aren't playing, it may not make sense to force your young star to come back at all this year. One of those tank, untank type of situations. In addition to that, Russell Wilson, he also broke his hand, his non-shooting hand. What'd I say, Russell? Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the rundown, and I'm for some reason I looked at Russell Wilson, who's in the news today. Thank you, Jason. Russell Westbrook, who has not been released, he also has a broken bone in his non-shooting hand. They actually, and by they I mean the Clippers, are hopeful that he may return for the Western Conference playoffs. He also had surgery yesterday. Also one of the NBA's top 6 men. Listen, you never root for injury, of course, and you wish that none of this had happened, but the brass tacks is this. Malik Monk, that's one more competitor that most likely will drop out of that race for the, what I'd like to say, probable 6th man of the year, Malik Monk, which would be interesting because you'd have the clutch player of the year last year, the coach of the year, the executive of the year, and then you fast forward to this year, probably the only award they will win, but grabbing a 6th man of the year, pretty cool. So you have that going on, Jason. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just as a preview, based on the way the season's gone, and maybe this is, jumping ahead and unfair, but you just said about Scotty Barnes, and he's going to be out indefinitely.
Yeah.
Would you say he's the Raptors' best player now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dave, I don't know if you want to cut this segment now and record it, and then that way we can just air it on, March 21st, but on March 20th, the Kings still have to go to Toronto. So that would truly be an undermanned Raptors team without their best player. So just putting that out there as a...
Yeah, I had to do that.
Yeah, but that we can only establish that in the United States. We don't know how it is
good
internationally.
Point, Chris. You know what? Actually, I think they're going to be fine.
You know what? You got the schedule in front of you. Let's have some fun with this. Jason, who are they playing before Toronto?
Before Toronto, sorry, just went away from the page, but I'll get it for you. The day before Toronto, this is part of the road trip. This is it's the first game of the road trip. They'll have played the last game of the homestand against the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, so that's a bad team. More importantly, who do they play after Toronto?
Back to back, the league's worst team, the Wizards.
Okay, well then either one. They're not playing. There's no really great game to blow the game before, and then there's no really great game to figure out. Like if the next game was the second night of a back-to-back in Boston, I would bet my house on the Kings to cover that spread. I'm not saying they'd win, but I'd bet on them to cover.
Yeah.
By the way, going back to 6th man of the year, we haven't looked at this in a long time, Jason, but lo and behold, not only is Malik Monk the favorite, he is a heavy favorite right now to win 6th man of the year. Malik Monk currently, and there's a lot of different betting lines that range. I'll take the average. He is at minus 260, meaning you would have to bet $260 to win $100. That's him being a favorite. You'd win less than you actually bet. Second place, Norman Powell at plus 650. So what that means is if you bet $100, you'd win $650. So you think about those: Karis LeVert in third at plus 900, Naz Reid plus 1,200, Tim Hardaway Jr. plus 2,200, and then Bobby Portis plus 2,900. Jason, that I got to look at the other awards, but that might be the biggest gap there is.
And if that happens, that would be the second time ever a Sacramento King won the Sixth Man of the Year.
Bobby Jackson. That's right. I also, let me get to Anthony Edwards here real quick. He missed tip-off because he lost track of time. He usually spends much of pregame warm-ups doing resistance band work outside the team's locker room, and I guess he got distracted by a bumblebee or something because he ended up missing tip-off, and he had to... He checked in with 11:25 remaining in the first quarter, ends up scoring 13 in 35 minutes. Actually was shaken up with a right elbow bruise in the third and was questionable to return. He did come back in the fourth. But I haven't heard that in a while. Somebody just got distracted and missed the starting lineup.
Yeah, if there's only a way that they could have clearly identified what time the game would start, and I don't know, was the whole building going nuts with the anthem, like in the intro, the anthem, like you didn't hear any of that?
I'm wondering if he's got the AirPods in, which still. Here's my thing: if I look, that's on him.
Where are my teammates? Where'd everybody go?
Where is the 19th assistant coach or the intern or the PR person?
Yeah.
Anyways,
hey, everybody get Anthony. Oh, he'll be here any second.
He'll be fine. Yeah, he'll be here.
Yeah.
And lastly, because we got a break here. You know what? Let's break right now. This will just take way too long. I want to update you guys on an ex-Sacramento King. I was going down rabbit holes, as I explained yesterday, and I came across this person's Wikipedia page and went, wow, that is quite the life lived at only 32 years old. So I'll explain to you who I'm talking about and why I'm talking about him. And when we come back, first off, we'll take your calls at 1-800-920-1140 for the Jiffy Lube drive of the game. Believe it or not, there was a Jiffy Lube drive of the game last night. All you have to do is tell us what it was. You're getting a $100 gift certificate from our good friends at Jiffy Lube. We'll update you on the standings as well. And let's find somebody to blame for this Jekyll and Hyde team. Let's blame it on someone or some group. I want to blame someone, and I want your help. We'll do all that next on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He stopped the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Sold on report.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton and Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
1 ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event. The Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at twohugeshows.com.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
Hey, I want to start out this segment by thanking something I don't think I've ever done before. I appreciate my Twitter followers, and the reason is with the new side gig with the English soccer team over there, a lot of my tweets lately, especially around match day, have been about soccer, and I appreciate the lack of complaints, although I generally try to keep it Kings related. But when it comes to those games over there, I get pretty intense, and I've made some friends over there on social media, Jason. I got a private message this morning from a guy named Chris in England, and I'm in no way trying to disrespect this message here. I literally at about 4:30 in the morning laughed out loud when I read it. Hey, question. I'm retiring from the West Yorkshire Fire Service next year after 31 years on my 50th birthday. This just happens to be the first day of the Masters golf tournament, and I'm planning on actually being over there. Any chance you have any hookups for 2025 Masters tickets? And,
do you?
I had to explain to him because I guess if I knew somebody in media in England and I was going to be over there for, I don't know, Wimbledon, or I don't know what the equivalent would be, it's a natural question to ask. Huh?
The British Open?
The British Open, there you go. And I don't know if tickets are as tough to get there in fact, I don't know if anything's as tough to get to as the Masters. But I understand the thought process. I had to explain to him that I just got slapped down in my 18th consecutive year of entering the Masters ticket lottery. And he had mentioned that he had gotten quoted, and it sounded... he said, the quotes I've been getting are ridiculous. And it's like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So just, if anybody has any hookups on Masters tickets, let me know. Not in any way to help this person.
Also, might want to figure out where he's staying, because I've learned that the people from the UK don't have a really good grasp of how big the U.S. is. So he might be staying in Chicago thinking about going to the Masters for a day.
You're 100% correct. Like, legitimately, dude might be in California and think, oh, I'm in the United States. Just to give everybody an idea, my favorite factoid about over there is that the longest road trip, the longest by miles road trip between two Premier League teams, the furthest apart teams, the mileage is shorter than the drive from Sacramento to Los Angeles. To me, that still blows my mind how relatively small it is over there and the amount of teams that they have packed in there. Anyways, welcome in. Hello, everybody. We'll take you all the way till 10 a.m. Frankie's going to join us in just over an hour. And before we get to the Kings proper, Jason, I was telling you, I was going down a rabbit hole last night, and I came across the Wikipedia page of Thomas Robinson. Pick number 5 for the Sacramento Kings. I went, I wonder what old Tom Robinson's doing these days. He's 32 years old, which is kind of mind-blowing. And he's still playing basketball. Now, he played for the Kings for a few years. And then you may remember, let's play
he finished a year.
So you're right. You're right. He was drafted June 28th of 2012. He was traded February 21st of 2013. So you're absolutely right. Do you remember any of the principals in that trade with Houston?
I think I do. If I can, Do you have it in front of you?
I've got it right in front of me.
Cole
Everyone play
Aldrich?
along at home. Say it again.
Cole Aldrich?
Yes. Was not the name I was expecting you to say first.
I'm forgetting the small point guard.
Are you talking about Florida State's Tony Douglas?
Yes, Tony Douglas.
There's a starter in here. There's a guy who started for the Kings.
Can you give me the first letter of the last initial, or the first initial of the last name?
Well, either way, I can give you either the first initial of the first name or the first initial of the last name. It's going to be the same initial.
Oh, wait. No, but it didn't Patrick Patterson.
Patrick Patterson.
Yes.
Patrick Patterson, Tony Douglas, and Cole Aldrich, along with cash considerations for Thomas Robinson. You want to take a stab at who we sent over?
Francisco?
We sent Francisco Garcia and the late Tyler Honeycutt, along with Thomas Robinson, to the Rockets for Patrick Patterson, Tony Douglas, Cole Aldrich, and cash considerations.
Wow.
All right. He then went on to play for the Blazers for a couple of years, then the Sixers, then the Nets, then the Lakers. Now, I'm going to get a lot of this wrong, but here we go. After that, he has played for Khimki, which is a team in Russia. The Beikong Fly Dragons. They're not just dragons, they're fly dragons. The Maine Red Claws, the Szechuan Blue Whales, then back to Russia and Khimki. Then he went to Turkey, Puerto Rico, Korea, a different team in Puerto Rico, Nicaragua, back to Puerto Rico on his third Puerto Rican team. Then his fourth Puerto Rican team, that would be Capitanes de Arecibo. Then his fifth Puerto Rican team, Caraduros de Fajardo. Leonos de Pence becomes his sixth Puerto Rican team. Then in 2023, he played for the Road Warriors in the Philippines. And he is currently playing for Pelita Jaya Basketball Club in Indonesia. That he's playing today, right now, for these folks. That is a world-traveling basketball player, and I am here to say, good for you, Thomas Robinson. You get yours, my man.
That's awesome.
Isn't that
Keep
cool?
it going. Living the dream.
And one last note on him, and we kind of knew this coming in, Jason, when he was drafted, but in case you didn't know or you forgot, Thomas Robinson lost his grandmother, grandfather, and mother within 3 weeks of each other while he was in college. He has a younger sister named Jayla Paris, who was born in 2003, and an older brother named Jamal Robinson. After the deaths of all three of his relatives we mentioned earlier, Angel Morris, the mom of Marcus and Markeith Morris, took care of both Thomas Robinson and his younger sister. He is now the co-founder of Family Over Everything, the Family Over Everything Foundation, FOE, along with the Morris twins and their mother, and is continuing to play basketball all around the world. I actually thought that was a pretty cool, look, obviously things didn't work out here, Jason, basketball wise,
Right.
but with what Thomas has been through in his life and the fact that at 32 years old, he's still seeing the world, chasing his dream, and hopefully getting a pretty decent paycheck, I'm rooting big time for this guy. And honestly, I have no idea how to get a hold of him, but sometime this summer, I think that would be a hell of a person to have an extended conversation with on the program.
What a journey, right? Some it's smooth and easy, and this one, but just the love of the game still going.
Do I understand, Jason? You take over here. Do we still have a person online for the Jiffy Lube drive of the game? Okay.
And let me see if I have this right. Is it Mahen?
Yes.
All right. You were first. You were the first one to dial.
Good morning, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, do you know the Jiffy Lube drive of the game?
Yes. Third quarter, Fox's Sabonis dunk.
Oh, were you going to say more?
I thought so too.
I didn't get the time and the scoring, but the G-Man said the next play, Fox's Sabonis was even a better pass, but the first one was
Okay, well, because David is a unique one in Mahen. I think you're going to like the results here. Let's see if you were right.
Let's go, Mahen.
Kings inside, great pass. Fox in finds Sabonis for the rip. That's going to be your Jiffy Lube drive and delivery of the game. Be listening to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross tomorrow morning, 7:45. Your chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. It's knocked out of the hands of DeRozan, grabbed by Harrison Barnes. Another great pass. Fox to Sabonis for a two-hand slam. That one was probably better than the one just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Your Jiffy Lube drive of the game has just been duplicated. Fox to Sabonis, this time with super emphasis. Double-double, 10 points, 15 rebounds for Domas. The streak lives on.
It's still just one prize, Mahen, but you kind of got both right. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Mahen, listen, as we give you your $100 gift certificate, I have one more question for you, okay?
Yes.
What Sacramento sports radio station makes all your Jiffy Lubing dreams come true?
Sacramento 1140. I listen to him as soon as I get up from work at 6 o'clock. When I drive the kids to school, I open it. I'm listening every day, Monday through Friday.
Cut, print, promo right there. Because we have the old one, Jace, remember, where they're like, well, they really have their sources, and I like to listen to them and all that. Yeah, that's the guy we need to use in our promos right there.
There you go. Well done, Mahen. We'll get your information.
Thank you, Mahen.
Nice. Yeah, we had kind of a double. I mean, it was funny that it happened. G-Man's like, I think it's this one. So we made it a double.
Well, good. Why not have a double every once in a while?
That's right. By the way, Dave, I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm watching the game again. It's on.
Why?
I don't know. Hey, it's 113-109 Bulls, 3.5 to go. I don't think they're going to hit a 4-point play.
If you were part of a viral video, Jason, where like you were on a balance beam, like in public, and then all of a sudden you slipped and you just straddled and, 2 balls, 1 strike. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're not watching the replay. Or are you?
After when I'm okay. I'm like, hey, did you ever see this? I don't know.
Hey, everybody, look, it's a funny video.
Look over here.
Over here. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get some post-game reaction. Jason will lead you through that. We've got De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis right after last night's, I don't know if it's a debacle or just another chapter in the storybook of the 23-24 Sacramento Kings. Maybe both. We'll hear from both of those gentlemen next right here on Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Some people just know the best places to eat around town. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know exactly where to go to get exactly what you're wanting. They know where to find the spiciest hot pot, the gooeyest brownies, and the tenderest, most flavorful portobello steak. Those people also know that safe drivers save 40% with Allstate. Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for all state auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and vary based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fair and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a Realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
This segment is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville. Check them out at kiavacaville.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All righty then. Halfway through the program, Frankie Cardicelli showing up in and out. Frankie clicks.
Yeah.
Our Sacramento Kings insiders showing up at 9 a.m. Jason, before we get to De'Aaron and Domantas Sabonis, TMZ has obtained the police report about the fracas backstage between Isaiah Stewart and Drew Eubanks of the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Stewart reportedly challenged
you. Got it.
Yeah, of course they did. Now, I guess this stemmed from a prior on-court incident 3 months earlier. Stewart reportedly challenged Eubanks as he got off the bus, saying, quote, "You want to run it back? We're right here. We can do it right now." Despite Eubanks' attempts to de-escalate by walking away, Stewart confronted him face-to-face in a tunnel. It was then that Stewart allegedly said, quote, "We can do this S word right now." before throwing a punch that hit Eubanks in the mouth, causing bleeding gums and loose, painful teeth. Now, you also may remember Isaiah Stewart was involved a couple of years ago in that really weird on-court incident with LeBron James where he was bleeding and chasing him around, and it turned out they'd been physical, and there was elbows thrown and all that. Being fair, I wonder if the league's going to step in from this, much like they did with Draymond, who, obviously Draymond's thing has been repeated and repeated and repeated, but it certainly sounds like we've got some anger issues going on with one of the NBA's young players, and very curious to see, legally is legally, but where this thing's going to go as far as Adam Silver, Joe Dumars in the NBA.
Yeah, and obviously, if now there's video to corroborate whatever the stories and the interviews they've been able to get, they'll come up with either a punishment or some sort of ruling on how he needs to go forward with this league. So yeah, that interesting though that TMZ, again, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are. They really, and I don't know if it started with the tragic passing of Michael Jackson, but that's Or was it OJ? Was TMZ all over the OJ thing as well, or is that too early?
No, they probably were. They're over everything,
and they've never been wrong.
TMZ's big thrust into national news was what's his name?
Mel Gibson.
Yes, the Mel Gibson DUI. That's when everyone kind of found out what TMZ was.
I don't know who their sources are, but they're very, very good. And we've said this, it's been a long time that this has been this way, but if TMZ reports it and by the way, I mean, I know we're getting morbid here, but if I'm correct, Jason, when I called you that Saturday or Sunday afternoon, wasn't it TMZ that got the Kobe Bryant news first as well?
I think so. And, again, I was really hoping that information was wrong. And you just that was all surreal. I just couldn't believe it was true.
I don't know where they get it, but they get it. So there's TMZ crossing into sports yet again. MC on the chat line, November 8th, 2005 is when they started. So that would have been way after O.J. Simpson. All right, back to the Sacramento Kings. We have post-game reaction. Jason, take it away.
Yeah, we got lots here. Let's go the players version kind of in this segment, Dave. Let's start with the two leaders. We got Fox and Sabonis talking. First, De'Aaron talked about just the entirety of this year, how up and down it truly has been.
Yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster for us this year. And we always talk about being consistent. And I think, first quarter, I think we were excellent. Second quarter, I just think we didn't score the ball well. But, we're still in command of this game. And then we come out, we have a great third quarter. And then we don't play well in the fourth at all. So we have to be consistent throughout a game and just throughout the entire season.
I said this earlier, Dave. I noticed, you can't tell players how to feel, how to react. And they play so many. And sometimes we've all seen it where, maybe there's that super frustrating loss, and then you'll see players not necessarily laughing, but hugging or dapping up the opposing team. They're friends, and you just want to be so mad at the team. Why are you even talking to them? That guy just hit the game-winning shot, and sometimes that's the case. And I feel like Fox sometimes has been a little nonchalant in his post-game responses. I mean, that's just who he is, but just kind of a little matter of fact. But I felt last night there was a little bit of a different tone with him, and maybe it's because we're getting later in the year, and then this one truly did slip away. But let's see if there's a little more here from Fox on that and how they have to be much better down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we did the same thing to this team earlier this year. We were up 30 and they came back. So when we had the lead, we know that this game isn't over. And they did the exact same thing, except they were able to finish this game off today. So, you look at any game, you look at the swings of a game. A lot of times one team ends up with a 15-point lead at some point. The other team probably has a 10-point lead at some point. So game swings in a variety of ways. We just have to be able to put a full game together, and then we have to be better down the stretch if they do get it back to a close game.
Well, they haven't learned the lessons, have they?
No, and I always want to be really careful with the whole, like you mentioned about the dapping up the other team. That's just modern NBA. These guys grew up playing AAU together. They've known each other since they were kids in a lot of cases. It is what it is. I don't care. When it comes to the post game, not going to lie, man, I watched De'Aaron afterwards, and instinctively, I also watched him after whatever the hell their previous bat. What was the one before Minnesota? It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't Denver, but I don't know. There was a bad loss.
Probably the Detroit one at home.
Yeah, I mean, and look, De'Aaron is very cerebral generally in his answers, and is very, kind of matter of fact. This is what happened. We didn't execute here. They did. We had too many turnovers. They were making shots. We weren't. Our defense needed to be better. Nothing De'Aaron says, whether it's there or after any of these terrible losses, none of what he says is wrong. It's good analysis. It's what happened. But, and I also, by the way, don't blame him for that's just who he is.
Yeah.
And I'm probably should be more complimentary. It's probably the better way to be. But as a fan, I got to be honest, man. I really just want to see one of these players just lose it at the podium. I really do. I want to see him say, what, you're asking me what's wrong? I don't know what's wrong. I wish I did, but this is ridiculous. We got to quit doing that. We have big plans for the postseason, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We're acting bigger than our britches. We can't be soft. We got to have more heart. We got to have more focus, and it's on each and every one. Starting with myself. Like I'm just saying that's what I, as a Manic fan, I want to hear somebody just lose it. And we've seen this from other players and other teams before. Say what you want about Draymond Green, and there's a lot you can say about Draymond, and I struggle with whether I like him or not sometimes, and I generally land on that I don't, but I can tell you this, Draymond Green on this team, some of these losses ain't happening. You want to talk about players-only meetings? This dude's going to call those player-only meetings. You want to talk about post-games? Dude, there's going to be at least a few times where he's just going to absolutely tell it how it is, lay it out there. And look, you get a lot of bad with that good, but there are just times as a fan, and it gets to the point where I'm listening to Mark and Katie, and listen, full credentials, dude. Everyone knows Katie's my best friend in the world, and I love Mark Jones. Mark Jones is a friend of mine outside of this business. I can't stress enough how much I love and respect these guys and think they're wonderful at their job. But I hear Katie, who's an ex-athlete, and she's going through and she's doing her job. She's analyzing what's going on, and she's explaining it. And she'll, when I hear either of our announcers, whether it's Kyle, Mark, or Katie, and again, Jason, they're doing their jobs properly. This is not a criticism. This is just how I react. When I hear an announcer of ours or an analyst say, you got to give credit to the other team, instinctively, I'm like, no, I'm not giving credit to anyone. And I really need you to broadcast to me about how stupid this is and how disgusting it is to watch and how tired you are of the whole thing and what a joke this is. And here we go again. And that. Now, that's why I'm not an announcer, because I'm not professional enough to hold my emotions in. They're doing their jobs. But as a fan, I guess I'd love to see players, announcers, and people connected to the team a little bit more. I want to see somebody flip a table. I want to see the Gatorade poured all over the place. I want to see all of that, but I'd also admit that's probably not the healthiest way to be.
Yeah, and everybody's going to react a little differently. And also, let's remember, when they get to the podium, there has been a few minutes. There is a little bit of a cool down. Maybe, you've already been talked to by the coaches, and there's probably about 15 to 20 minutes after that final horn. Let's hear from Sabonis a bit too here. Let's get his thought on where they are now and how they really need to ramp up their play.
We just, we try to make the right reads. We try to make the right reads, and sometimes it doesn't go your way. Everyone wanted to get stops and score the ball, to win the game for us. And it's a good learning point, for us. But at the same time, 22 games left, I think, and we just gotta. You can't really even think about it anymore. There's no time. We just gotta lock in against the Lakers and get this win. It's a big game for us in the standings.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit more of a sense of urgency, I would say, there, Dave, from Sabonis on look, we've had plenty of we let that one go games. And yeah, there might be more, but you just gotta limit that the best they can down the final 22.
Or you don't, and you're an unserious team, and you're a first round out, and there we go. And they all better enjoy playing together this year, because if Monty McNair is going to do his job like I believe he will, if that's the future of this team, if the future of this team is more up and down crap and a first round out, I don't think we're going to see a lot of the same team back next year. At that point, you got to start making some adjustments, because instead of an isolated incident, it becomes a bit of a pandemic. We'll take a break. When we come back, more post-game reaction. We'll talk about and to the coach, Mike Brown, on what he saw and what he didn't see last night. Quick 1-minute break. We're back with Coach Mike Brown next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
They bleed black and purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back. If those of you on YouTube heard me singing during the break, I apologize. But thank you for muting the mic, Chris.
You're loco, man.
I was singing to my dogs.
That's what it sounded like.
They're here, and they're wanting attention, and we're at a break, and I'm singing to my dogs. And it's like I did yesterday, Jason. I got off the air, and I went outside. I actually thought of you, because I went outside. I closed the door to the studio, and I see my dogs looking at me, and I'm going to take them outside. And as they're walking outside, I just, by myself with my dogs in the house, as they're running outside, I go, "We're talking puppies!" And then I realized just how dumb that is. Shout out Jeff Tarbell. Anyway, how are you doing, Jason?
I'm doing well. Well, as well as we can.
No puppies here.
Yeah.
No. Which, by the way, would we object to a Sacktown Sports dog?
No.
Someone have to take care of it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Would it be like a rolling schedule?
Yeah, I think we all would during the day, but what happens at night?
Yeah, I think Chris is right. We'd have to have a rolling schedule where, like, we get, like Simone takes it home one night, then Chris, then me, then whoever. I wonder if that'd be a good life for a dog. Like, you get all these different families and all these different sniffs and all these different lovings, but then also, no stability.
Right.
You're just being tossed around. You're going all over the place like Thomas Robinson's basketball career. You're here, there. I don't know.
Okay, so we're naming the dog Thomas Robinson, right?
100%. Thomas Dogginson. Well, unless we wanted to name it, what was it? Dogdonovich. It was what we were talking about a couple of years ago. It's a great dog name.
Bones Highland.
See, but I feel like it would have to have some sort of Sacktown Sports, Sacramento Kings, connection. Also, it has to be the right dog too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler.
Why?
Or the,
Two of the best dogs out there.
Look, nothing against.
You want little fellers.
German Shepherds are just.
I want
massive.
a solid mutt.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah, like something
dog.
from the pound.
Yeah, but you can get a big dog.
Yeah, but your big dog, though, they shed, you're putting them in your car, they're taking everything up, they're pooping the size of small buildings. I'm not saying you got to get a Yorkshire Terrier.
They're not frowny either.
Yes.
Huh?
Hopefully those poops aren't frowny.
Yeah, exactly, by the way. Or you know what? Maybe it becomes an outside dog and we help it guard this, it guards the station.
Yeah.
You just leave it outside behind the fence, make sure it's got a place to be warm. DeBarcus Cousins. All right, this is going to be a rabbit hole. Mike Brown spoke after the game last night, and here's what Coach Brown had to say after the game.
Obviously, that the teams can go on a run or the script can flip like that, and before you know it, you're in trouble. And I'm not sure if our guys took their foot off the gas per se. I feel like we didn't do what we should have done, and that was from the beginning, of the game. Even though we had gotten a couple of leads, we were still not doing a good job of moving the basketball, and they were turning us over, and that eventually caught up with us.
Okay. That's the first one. There's a little bit more from Brown on how this was a game they really should have won.
It's the message. You give Chicago credit because they won the basketball game. They did exactly what they do. They played a lot of pick and roll. They try to get downhill, but the biggest thing is they swarm that paint and they get deflections and they get out and they run. And so you give them credit because they followed their game plan, but obviously the mood, everybody's down because it was a winnable game. Even though we feel like we didn't play well, we still felt it was a winnable game, and so we felt like that we let this one slip through our fingers, and so it's tough right now. It's tough for anybody to swallow this one.
And it should be.
Yeah, it should be. And look, I don't want to take down Mike Brown here because he's doing his press conference, and on top of that, we don't know what's said behind the scenes, and I don't expect him to, eviscerate his team. Although I'm not entirely sure that eviscerating his team in public wouldn't be the way to go. I mean, at some point, you got to do something, and it's like, let's give them credit for what? For what? Playing like an NBA team and staying in it. I don't want it. Not that the other team doesn't deserve credit. The Bulls do deserve credit. But I'd rather focus on the credit that our team doesn't deserve. And we can all sit here and grab a box score, and we can read off what happened. Like, I can sit here and do the post-game show all day long, Jason, as can you. Mm-hmm. And I can go, oh, well, they outdid this, and this is what happened. We got outscored bloody blue in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. And, when DeMar DeRozan outscores your entire team, like, we can all do that. We all watch the game. We know what happened. What are you going to do about it? And why does it keep happening? Like, why does this keep happening? And what are you going to do about it? What is the disconnect in the locker room, in the timeouts, on the floor? And why is it that you repeatedly, not a couple of times, not a natural course of the season, oh, here's a bad loss and a good win, we all have bad days, they said, no, that we get that, but repeatedly you win great games and there's a ton to be proud of, and everyone's like, well, maybe they turned the corner here. And you follow it up with an absolute steaming pile of crap, And it seems more, I mean, you went through the list earlier, Jason, of all these losses, and then you look at it, all the bad losses, and you look at it and, there's a big win right after that. And how many times have we looked at this dumb schedule and it's like, wow, we really stole that one. That was a win we didn't expect to get on the road or wherever it may be. And maybe this is it. And then you turn around, much like, we won in Minnesota. Oh, did you have your best player? No, you didn't have your best player. You were with out De'Aaron Fox. Is that the last game of the road trip? Yeah, that's when you're supposed to be tired. Oh, okay, no problem. You go down to the Clippers. You beat the Clippers in LA, a team that had throttled you the previous 2 games you played them, and then you follow that up with an 11-point loss to Miami without Jimmy Buckets. The amount of come from ahead losses that this team has this year. So it's like, I get it. I understand everybody's doing their job. But I don't need you to tell me what happened in the game. Like, we all saw it. You blew a stinking lead again. You blew 2 double-digit leads, 1 in each half. You had a brace. Congratulations. We saw that. What are you going to do about it, and why is it happening? And by the way, if your answer is, I don't know what's happening, because if I did, we would do something about it, okay.
Right.
But at some point, it's almost like, can we just stop reading the script after can we get into the heads here? Because I don't have answers, and you don't have answers, and nobody has answers, and maybe there aren't answers, but can we at least acknowledge there aren't answers? And is that just the way this is going to be all year? My guess is it's the way it's going to be until it isn't. And that's very frustrating.
Well, and it's been this way the entirety. So to think it'll change in the last 20-something games, it would be I think foolish to think that. But I wanted to get this answer because I questioned the that final defensive decision, Dave, where they didn't elect to foul till way too late. Here's what Mike Brown said about that.
With the 3 seconds to go. So there, if I'm recalling right, James. So there was enough time, like 14-second difference when they got the ball back or something like that, I think. And so we just wanted to try to play that one out. And I think we ended up getting the foul, or the ball went out. We fouled. Oh, so we got it late. But there was a reason why there was like a 2-second difference. I can't remember why there was a 2-second difference on it, but they adjusted the clock back down to 0.8. Yeah. So, if I remember right, our whole thing is on the DeRozan thing. We wanted to try to see if we, before it got shortened, we wanted to just get a stop or see if we can get a steal. Once it got shortened, we wanted to see if we can get a trap and then a steal foul, because I think at that time we might have had 2 timeouts maybe. I would have to go back and watch, but because we didn't want to go down 4 if we can help it. And so our whole thing was see if we can get a trap, see if we can get a steal, and then after that, it was steal foul right away.
Okay, I know Coach was put on the spot, Dave, there, man, and trying to recall it all in real time, maybe. So I told you, I just watched it again. There was 14.8 left when the Bulls, when the scramble for the ball that Trey Lyles dove for the ball and couldn't get it in time. And so the Bulls had 14.8. They inbounded the backcourt to Kobe White. Kobe White runs away from Malik. Fox comes over, tries to trap him, but not right away. Remember, 14.8. The Bulls end up calling timeout with 5.1. So 9.7 seconds went off the clock. Bulls call timeout. Then they inbound again. They get it to DeRozan. That took 2 seconds. He was fouled with 3.1 to go. I think that was a total mistake. I mean, I think you go for the steal. I get that part's all right. You try for that. You try for the trap early. When it's not happening, you're down 2. Yeah, you don't want to go down 4. But if you're going to go down 4, you want to go down 4 with as much time left, not with 3.1 to go.
And you foul the 86% free throw shooting.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I will say I give credit to Chicago, because they know who to get the ball to and a guy who's going to make the free throws. Other than that, the Kings have to try to take that away, and they didn't. And again, there's 50 other things that happened to lead to that point. That's not the reason they lost the game. There are way more things, mistakes and turnovers and miscues. But when you kind of just don't do something right structurally, that that bothers me.
And you're right. You really nailed it at the end there, Jason, because whether it's the Chicago inbounds play, not fouling, letting all that time run off the clock, De'Aaron and that mistake on their inbounds play. But it's almost like leaving it in the hands of the judges. Both of those things sucked. But it's really all about just everything that led up to that and the fact that the Kings were even in that position. What they have, again, it was a 14 point lead in the first half they blew, and then a 20-point lead in the second, 22-point lead in the second half that they blew. And then you get outscored at home in the fourth quarter, 36-18. And then your stat of the day, which is so great, DeMar DeRozan outscores the Kings 19-18 in the fourth quarter at home on a team that is trying to be a playoff team and make some noise. That's just unserious to me.
Yeah.
It's just credit to DeMar DeRozan, but at some point, put him on his ass, double him, do something, make it. At some point, it's got to click. We can't let DeMar DeRozan beat us.
Yeah.
And what happened?
It was him. I mean, it was him, and they took turns. Kobe White was fantastic. Dosunmu was great. And, the Kings couldn't find their group to do that and couldn't find their answers. And it wasn't a back-to-back. They had the weekend off. They had 2 days off after they got Fox back. I mean, there were things now pointing more in favor of Sacramento, certainly record-wise, than the Bulls. And, again, a classic one that got away from them that really, to me, was more of a self-destruction. I know when people say give credit to another team, yes, they came back. They did their part. But I don't think it should have even been in that situation. When you're up 22 late third, you need to – and then it's 14 by the end of the quarter. It was pretty quick. 14 now is doable. If that stayed at 22 or even went north and got to 26 or 28, it's probably a wrap. But it wasn't, and they left the door open, and then they played not to lose, and they deserve what they got there.
Ed Sumu has had 20 or more points 6 times this year out of 59 games. And shockingly, one of those 6 came against the Sacramento Kings. He had 18 against the Kings back on February 3rd. This is a guy averaging just under 11 points a game, 10.8. Now, granted, in his last 6 games, he's had 20, 15, 21, 8, and 21. He had 29 against Atlanta on the 12th, so he's getting a bit harder. But then hotter. But then you go to, again, Kobe White, who sets a career high last night at Golden One Center, breaking his career high previously that he set at Golden One Center. We've talked about it before. Other teams see the Kings on their schedule, and they start licking their chops, and they get excited, and they are not afraid or intimidated of a team that's 34-26 and has one of the best gyms and the best home court advantages and fans in the entire NBA. And the fact that teams are circling their calendar and are excited to play the Sacramento Kings, I think that's as big of a that's as big of a headline as we'll have all year long.
Yeah, I think in his career, Dave, Kobe White now has 14. Make sure I have this right. 14 30-point games. He's got 3 of them against Kings. They only play each other twice. I mean, it's just crazy.
We'll take a break. We're way late for that. When we come back, is this just how it's going to be? I mean, do we just accept that this is just how it's going to be? And maybe we're the ones that need the psychologist. Maybe there's tricks that we can do so we're not riding this roller coaster. Did De'Aaron say? I think De'Aaron said this season's been a roller coaster.
He did.
I don't disagree with him, except roller coasters are fun.
Can be.
Yeah, it can be. You're exactly right. We're at the scary part. We're at the barf part. When we come back, how will the final 22 go? We have no freaking clue, but we'll talk about it next.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is Sacktown Sports.
He's got the bucket at the buzzer. Harrison Barnes.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Harrison Barnes, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by AutoAccident.com.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Tuesday. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies and a cool start to the day as we head through the afternoon on this election day. Might have a stray shower or 2, but overall mainly dry with highs in the low 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way.
AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SacktownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Well, we're at the point in the YouTube chat where we're wondering whether or not Jesus had anything to do with the loss last night. And
hey, that's your corner of the store.
Yeah, it is. And if heaven is upset at the beam, then maybe that's the problem. That, they're just sitting there chilling, watching whatever Modern Family, and all of a sudden a giant purple beam hits your window.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. We found it.
That's where we're at right now, Jason, and trying to find in the chat why there is an issue with the Sacramento Kings. We have now turned to the Lord as a reason, and people are now also maybe perhaps blaming the Piglet statue. I don't know. Is it sauce? I don't know. I at this point, it's like in Bull Durham. I'm willing to do whatever, man. If we need to do the whole what was it? They had to sacrifice a chicken, and somebody brought in a bucket of KFC. Let's do that.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
What happens on if this is the line of thinking? Just curious as what happens when they win? It's just those things don't matter.
Well, that's what I said. Where was the issue last year with the beam? There was no issue with the beam last year. So we got to stay on track here.
Do you know who I'm blaming for last night's loss?
I know who Chris is blaming.
Jason Ross.
Oh, why?
little preview of 3 in the Key, but do you remember what his random?
Oh, that's right.
I have for the second straight game, Domantas Sabonis will foul out.
Jason, I don't like yours.
Doesn't mean they're going to lose.
No.
Well, I don't like yours either.
There it was. Maybe, I don't know if we're allowed to do that anymore.
Way to go, Jason.
Did Jason Ross jinx Domantas Sabonis last night?
I would really like to then counter Chris's point with Chris's random stat, which was Domantas Sabonis will light the beam.
Yeah, but that was positive.
Yeah, but did you jinx him?
How?
It didn't happen. I predicted
every
correctly.
single thing that every fan does at home or at the stadium makes a direct impact in the game.
I'm getting punished for a positive prediction.
It wasn't positive, though.
A correct prediction, excuse me.
Yeah, correct prediction. Yes.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I think
it's your fault that you've seen how this Kings team has played and predicting what was going to happen.
Well, that's true. Then if that's the case, then I got to jump in the deep end of the pool with Jason here too, because I'm also the one that's like, they're going to lose the Bulls. They're going to lose.
So I blame Dave.
Yeah, you know what? When in doubt, just blame me. And guys, you know, as we wonder, is it Jason Ross? Is it me? Is it Jesus? Whomever may be to blame for the Sacramento Kings. At some point, you know how speaking of, you're just supposed to give yourself over and have faith.
Turn it over.
Is that? Do we just turn ourselves over to the beam at this point and just say whatever you?
Hey,
whatever
beam,
you got,
take me away.
Yeah, take like, is the beam the Calgon of 2024, and are we just throwing it in the bathtub? Actually, that wouldn't work out. That's like a scene out of Groundhog Day. Don't mess with electronics. But are we at the point, excuse me, where we just say, it's entertainment, whatever. It's just basketball, guys. This doesn't matter.
I mean, let's see.
Hey, there's real things going on. I want to try this. There's real things going on in the world.
Yeah, let's talk politics. Let's
go. Things that matter in the world.
Let's stick to politics.
Let's just do that. When it comes to basketball, win, lose, were you entertained? No, I was not entertained last night. I was de-entertained last night. But
you know,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say this. You know, it was a funny comp. I know I heard, what's his name from Denver, or one of our Denver affiliates, but Styles and Watkins had him on last week when the Kings were playing Denver. And he was talking about kind of the similarities that he was sensing from Sacramento to Denver. And his reference was the very first year Denver was really good and how much fun it was. That was the most fun year they had, which, parallels last year for Sacramento Kings fans. And then he said it kind of turned into, hey, look, they kind of got something developing with Jokic to Jokic all of a sudden is like one of the best players in the league. And then there's expectations and thought of like, hey, this team could be a champion. And they lost in the Western Conference Finals. Then they lost in the Western Conference semis, so they went backwards. Then they lost in the Western Conference first round, and it was miserable. Like, they were miserable. And then the very next year, they won the finals. I'm not saying that's what's happening for the Kings, but the parallel, Dave, is like the very first year was so much fun. And then ultimately, when they won the whole thing is where it was fun again. But in between, there was 4 straight years of playoff exits where they were good. They were a good team, but it wasn't as much fun. And I don't know, is this a parallel with the Niners? Like, this year was a great year, but in the year they had that 3-game losing streak and we're probably questioning everything. Maybe this team isn't that good. Maybe they're not the best team in football. And then they kind of regroup and get there and get to the Super Bowl, ultimately to have their hearts ripped out, but you just know they are good. They could have won it. They didn't, and you just got to go back at it again. But it's the very first year is the most enjoyable because it's kind of unexpected. After that, I think it's always going to be a grind and painful. And when you think you're good and you have bad losses, there's no other way to say it, and question heart and coaches and players and IQ and all the thing, God, everything that comes up all seems to surface when you've got a little bit of a taste of being a good team. Well,
we've talked about the parallels between the Nuggets and the Kings. I guess I would just find it a lot easier to handle, Jason, if somebody could just say that we're eventually going to win a championship with this team, because then I'll enjoy the ride.
Will you though? So if I told
No,
you,
you won't.
Yeah, I know. I was just say, Dave, if we have the same parallel, so 1, 2, 3, 4 years from now, some version of this core would win the title. If somehow you knew that, but in there is, losses in the like. I wonder how you would would you question whether or not that was going to be right? Like if someone told you today, Dave, I promise you in 28 or 28-29 season, the Kings are going to be champions. But you're going to go through some good and some bad in between, obviously, and playoff failures. You would probably question whether or not that fact was true.
All right, let's end the segment the way we started it. All right, with Jesus. And if I'm sleeping tonight and basketball Jesus comes to my bedside and says, my son, big
David.
purple, beautiful purple Jesus, long flowing hair, says, my son, I am here to tell you one thing and one thing only. Your Sacramento Kings will win a championship within the next 4 years. What you just said. Sometime within the next 4 years, could be next year, could be 4 years from now. At some point, the Sacramento Kings are going to win the championship. I would look at Jesus I wouldn't look him in the eyes, but I'd do whatever you do to respect. Yeah, exactly. I would be looking at the ground with my head bowed, and first I would ask if I could have a lot of money. Like, do you get a wish?
David.
Do you get a wish? Like,
I'm giving you your wish of a championship,
okay,
David.
And that's okay. You can't blame me for asking. Amen. And then you know what? I would roll it. Maybe this is what finding true faith is all about. Because I would roll into work the next day. You guys wouldn't recognize me. I'd have this like faraway smile on my face. I'd look at you guys would be wondering if I'm on mushrooms or something. And I'd just be sitting there. Jason would be like, oh, the game last night, you're really taking it in stride. I'd be like, you know what, Jason? It's all going to work out in the end, buddy. It's all going to work out, and we're going to have a championship here. I really believe that. The problem I have with faith is it's not guaranteed. Like, I need a guarantee, and I feel like Jesus at my bedside that's a guarantee. Like, I'm not doubting JC if that's what he says. If he says it, I'm going to believe it, and then I'd be like the coolest cucumber in the entire world. So if you're listening, I know there's probably at least 4 more things pressing in the world than what I'm saying right now, but 5? Somewhere between 4 and 6.
Yeah, shorten that list.
But if you could see it to come down and guarantee a championship. And by the way, would it be unethical if I bet on that? Like if you get a tip from Jesus that your team's going to win the title, you probably can't bet on that, right?
See, then you are invested, because you would be mad if it's year 1 and you're thinking they said within 4 years and you lose that bet. And then the next year they don't do it, you lose that bet. Now you're getting progress. You're going to increase your wager, aren't you? Each year.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, Jason, I know we got a break. I probably would stop betting on not that I bet now, of course, but I tell my friend to stop betting on this team because I feel like that would be unethical. And one of our guys in the chat says, Jesus usually comes to your bedside when you're not well. I'm not well. I'm a Kings fan. I had COVID last week on top of it. So if there was ever a time to guarantee a championship, which I believe would heal much of the pain in this world, now would be a time. And then I'd be like, oh, we lost at home to the Grizzlies by 34. You know what? It's all part of the plan. Que sera, sera.
I think the lesson there is, if you had this calling and you knew that they were going to win a title, you would be so carefree. Then limit your expectations on the other years. That's the lesson. Like, I don't know why expectations jumped all of a sudden to, like, really, the reality. What did you think this team would be at the end of the year? A playoff team, a second-round team, a conference
second-round playoff team.
Okay. So has any of that changed with this season?
Not yet.
Okay.
And
so all of this to get right back there.
We'll end it like this. Tony on the chat says if Jesus came to Sacramento, he'd likely miss his free throws. And I can't disagree with that whatsoever. He's a 90% career shooter, too. We'll take a break. When we come back,
free throws.
Who's hot, who's not, and we'll recap a very jinxy 3 in the key. We'll do that in just a couple minutes right here on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app. By American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
Who is hot?
Jordan Poole.
What? Jordan Poole's never hot.
Yeah. Well, last night, Jordan Poole scored 32 points, but he had a 9-minute stretch where he scored 23 points, shooting 100% from the free throw line, 100% from the 3-point line, and 100% from the field.
Who does he think he is? DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Yeah.
Well, good for Jordan Poole. He's been taking a lot of crap lately for a while. And why do we not root for Jordan Poole? Like, he got knocked out by Draymond Green, got run out of Golden State. He's a young player with a lot of talent. Why do I feel like we root against Jordan Poole?
Why do we root for him?
Just as a general, like, I hope he does well. I hope he goes away from the Warriors and does well. But it feels like he's kind of become like this joke now. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Joking Poole.
Who's not?
Funny enough, the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Despite Jordan Poole's game, the Wizards lost their 15th game in a row, 120 to 115 to the Utah Jazz. The Wizards have not won a game since they beat the San Antonio Spurs 118 to 113 on January 29th.
Now, did I hear this right? And you never want to believe what you see on the social medias, kids. That's your one to grow on. But you said how many of the Wizards lost in a row?
15.
15. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So their 24th in a row would be at home versus Sacramento March 21st. So go ahead and circle that one. 25, 26, 27, and wouldn't 28 tie or break the record? I think that's set by Detroit.
This year,
because Friday, March 29th, going for their 28th in a row, they would be playing the Detroit Pistons at home. Wouldn't that be great? Like, what would we call that? The Pooper Bowl? Between Detroit and Washington for the record?
Stinky!
Seriously. By the way, this team lost by 3 in LA to the Lakers in overtime last Thursday. Just saying.
This was a rabbit hole last week, Dave, while you were out that I went down a bit. If you get a second, just check out Marvin Bagley's game log this year, and it's not his stats. Because remember, he was a member of the Detroit Pistons. Now he's a member of the Washington Wizards. In games played this year, he has won 4 games.
Oh, God.
He has lost. I'm going to do the count on the air. I know this isn't good radio, but I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. He's 4-40 this year.
Oh, my God.
Marvin Bagley himself.
That has to be the worst record of any. Well, of course it is, because did anybody else go with him to Washington?
From Detroit, so. Yeah, I don't think anybody that's meaningful minutes.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's 4-40, and he missed some games too. But the games he's played, he's 4-40.
Jesus would have picked Doncic over Bagley. Just saying. We'll do 3.
You got sausage arms and cankles.
Bagley? Who are we?
Doncic.
Doncic. That's right. We'll take a break. Coming up in a half an hour, we'll knock out the 3 in the key from last night, along with what to watch. Coming up next, though, it's Frankie Clicks, Frankie Cardicelli, our Sacktown Sports Insider. And once again, we'll be sitting here talking to Frankie about what's wrong, what can they do, what's going on. And I highly doubt Frankie will have answers, but we'll all have no answers for you together right here on your home of those Kings, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company, Zolban Report.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then
boom, with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Yep.
Yep.
And blow another lead. Welcome back. I am Dave. That is Jason. Chris behind the glass. Take you all the way till 10 a.m. when Styles and Watkins, they will take the torch and continue to run it. Hey, that works too in this Olympic year. Jason, are you excited yet for the Olympics?
No, not yet, but I will be. I like the Olympics a lot, especially the summer.
I don't even know what the storylines are. Like, you know, we've had the whole like Michael Phelps build up, or Dan and Dave with Reebok, or Carl Lewis. You know, what happened to all that? Like, is there any storyline? Forget the NBA, you know, the basketball. Like, is there any Olympic storyline you're thinking that you're aware of right now?
Unless I'm mistaken, won't Simone Biles be a big one?
Okay, yeah, Simone Biles will be a big one. Is Katie Ledecky still a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We got to start getting our Olympic storylines out there for our Olympic coverage.
Yeah, our expanded Olympic coverage.
Frank, you with us?
Yeah, he's here.
Joining us right now, Sacramento Kings insider. I'm saying insider in quotes, and here's why. And that has nothing to do with Frankie. If you're a true insider, then you should be able to come on the program right now and tell us exactly why this is such a Jekyll and Hyde team. What is going on, and what is the solution? So with no pressure whatsoever, Frankie, good morning. Welcome in. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for a softball to start things off.
Yeah, solve the Kings.
You know, it really, there's no answer. I mean, I've been going over it. A bunch of us media folks were trying to kind of go through it last night, and we're kind of past the point, and this is kind of what makes it even more sad. We're kind of past the point of being surprised, and that's a problem with trying to kind of find out who this group is. And I think at game 60, maybe that just is what it is. Maybe this is who this team really is. We're kind of past that point where I think people put these game limits, like you want to go 15, 20, X amount of games to figure out who a team is, what their identity is. I think that the identity of the 23-24 Kings is just inconsistency. Like, there is a very inconsistent group, and I don't know if it's a matter of they jump out to these big leads and they feel comfortable and think they can coast to the finish line, and they end up kind of getting bitten in the back end of these games. I'm not sure if that's what it is or what, but there's something that just isn't working with this group. And, there's not much time to figure it out. You have 22 games to go, and it's a very unforgiving time in the Western Conference as far as the standings go. So there's no easy answer. This might just be who this team is, and it's frustrating, and it's definitely a bad situation that we're not as surprised as we should be about a team blowing a 22-point lead late in a game.
Frankie, I was telling Dave this, and I don't know if I'm accurate on this because I only heard the audio. I wasn't in the room with the guys or the locker room and so on and so forth. They've got plenty of these. We can all go through the list of how many times this has happened. But it felt like last night they sounded maybe the most frustrated to me. Did that feel that way? That instead of hey, these things happen, it just felt like they were really, for whatever reason, bothered by this one more than maybe some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're like fans and like us as well. They're searching for answers, and there's really no clear, easy solution. I mean, when you look at what happened in the third quarter, obviously there was some foul trouble there. Like Domantas Sabonis was going through foul trouble. Keegan Murray, I think, finished with 5 fouls, but there was a stretch in the third quarter where Fox and Sabonis both were on the floor, and that's very unlike what Mike Brown and the Kings' game plan has been this year. They like to have one of those guys on the floor at all times, but with Sabonis going through that foul trouble, those minutes at the end of the third where Fox is usually resting, you had to have a lineup that included Chris Duarte and Davion Mitchell were out there. Alex Len, there was no presence really a go-to scorer. And with Malik Monk, who went scoreless in the second half, not doing what he did in Minnesota, that just gave the Bulls a window of opportunity to jump right in the game, and they're leading from 22 to 14, and that loomed large late in the game. So I think from those guys' perspective, it's a matter of trying to find what the answer is as well, because they don't have it either. I mean, it kind of goes back to the free throw situation too that we've talked about for a while. There's no clear answer. It's a mental thing. I think with this team, as far as last night goes as well, I think it's a lot of mental. It's a mental aspect as far as I think this team might feel comfortable at times when they shouldn't, and other teams take advantage of that. This team is a good team. The Kings are good, but I think maybe last year kind of, I don't know if it put a false sense of confidence in these late game situations or what, but they've blown a lot of these late game leads, and that 22-point figure is reminiscent to the Phoenix game from a month ago, where they blew a 22-point in the fourth quarter. This is right on par with that. So it's hard to put a finger on it, but these guys are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to figure out what it is and how they can fix it and put themselves in a position to be in a playoff spot instead of having to focus on a one-game situation and play it.
Frankie Cardicelli joining us. I agree with everything you said, and I think what makes it the most frustrating and what makes it so difficult to like this team on the floor at times is every good team in the NBA, it doesn't matter who they are. I'll get really old man with Kings fans and go back to Larry Bird missing 2 free throws at Arco Arena 1, I believe it was, and one of the best Celtics teams of all time, one of the best NBA teams of all time, and losing to a terrible Sacramento Kings team. Every good team has games where they just forget who the other team is, forget that they get paid as well, and they lose focus. That happens. It's completely excusable and completely understandable. The frustrating thing here is that it's Chicago at home. It's Detroit at home. It's Portland on the road. It's Charlotte at home. It's Indiana without Halliburton and Siakam at home, and on and on and on. You can go these lists for every good, solid road win the Kings have, and even the ones that are against good teams, as you said, a record-setting, a lead that hadn't been blown in over 1,200 NBA games against the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. Your 80-something% free throw shooter Malik Monk missing 4 free throws in overtime against the Bucks. It's beyond a recurring pattern, Frankie. It's almost a norm to the point, and you know this, you're on social media, you're talking to fans. After the Timberwolves win, one of the first things we're all doing is saying, oh, God, we're going to blow it to the Bulls. And it's now become beyond a joke when we hear about a star player being out. Everybody knows what to do. You quote tweet that sucker and you say, oh, we're really screwed now. So doesn't this just is the only explanation available to you that this is a mental issue?
To me, that's the way I'm equating it. I really don't see any other alternative. I think that just when you go into these games, the approach you take is everything. And I think that sometimes that approach can change in the middle of a game when you're up by 20 points and you're feeling confident. I mean, it goes with any person in anything in life. You can be playing your buddy in Madden and you're up by 3 touchdowns with 3 minutes left and you take your foot off the gas. And the Kings right now, they've been taking their foot off the gas in these games. And it's more head scratching to me to look at when these opposing teams go on these late game runs. And I'm looking at it right now, the Bulls shot 68% in the fourth quarter. And obviously that's DeMar DeRozan, 19 points for DeMar DeRozan in the fourth quarter. Kobe White with a career high. He was getting buckets late. There's just nothing the Kings can do to stop this avalanche of offensive attack from these teams. There's really no stopping them. But then you look at a game like Minnesota, the top team in the conference at the time and one of the best home teams in the NBA, and the Kings were picking up multiple stops late and down the stretch. Again, Anthony Edwards was not playing, but they're able to lock in against a good team defensively and pull out a win. So I'm looking at these games where these leads go away and these teams kind of just snowball and find a way. To me, it's mental. And also it's the part that the Kings, they lack that defensive impact. They don't have the consistency there. They have Keegan Murray, who's been a solid defender this year. They have De'Aaron Fox, who he's second in the NBA in steals right now. He's been great on the defensive end. But as a unit, they are unable to put consistent efforts forward and put a stop to these runs. These runs just continue. They really just don't stop. It's relentless. And 68% to a team in the fourth quarter, when you lose your offensive punch, you're not going to win any of these games. So to me, I think it's them taking their foot off the gas and feeling good about where they are. Because again, the Kings, in the third quarter, we're kind of all thinking, wow, this is the team that we all know from last year. This is exactly what this team last year would do. They would just punch you in the mouth on offense, and there's nothing that opposing defenses could do about it. You have De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter knocking down shots, so many different things going on. Domantas Sabonis found his offense, and then just completely comes to a screeching halt. That's the head-scratching thing to me, the fact that the Kings really had nobody that was able to step up on offense late in the game, and the fact that as a unit, they're not able to stop these runs or at least break them up in time to catch their breath, because it's happened so many times this year.
Talk with our Sacktown Sports Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli, here on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Frankie, the execution part of it, I think you're right about the mental and maybe what's missing there, their approach, but the actual inside the game, the execution, I thought last night late was really bad, defensively, certainly offensively too. But individually, what did you think of Sabonis last night? I mean, that was as many shot attempts that he's had in the paint that he missed. What do you think was missing from his overall game last night from his typical production?
Yeah, it was interesting. In the first half, he really had I was trying to keep count. I think he had 3 or 4 shots that went in and out, and they were good looks. They're looks that he takes pretty often, and sometimes you just don't have it. And I think in the second half, he did a lot better job of it was mostly in transition. Fox, I think, had 4 assists to him in the third quarter alone. He really connected with him a lot and got his offense going. But, the Chicago Bulls, which was surprising to myself and my buddy Brendan Nunez when we were diving through the numbers pregame, entering play last night, they have the top paint defense in the NBA. And I don't think that means that's because Nikola Vucevic is a stopper. I think that when you look at their schemes, they just really collapse in on you. They do a very good job of collapsing in on bigs or forwards in the paint that are getting near the basket. And Sabonis has got collapsed in, double, triple teamed multiple times last night and had to kick it out to guys for threes. And when the Kings aren't making threes, they're not going to win many games. I just pulled up. They're 7-8 team with shooting under 35% from 3. So when you take into account Sabonis getting double teamed in the post and guys on the outside not doing their job, the Kings really had nothing to do on offense. And that reflected itself perfectly in the fourth quarter when the Kings could not get a bucket, 18 points, I think 30% shooting from the field. Not going to get it done, but Sabonis, to me, nothing out of the norm for him. I think some nights you just don't have it, and for a guy that's shooting 62% on the year, you're going to have down nights, and a lot of good looks that didn't fall, and of course he got going in the second half, but you got to be on the floor late in games, and we know that Sabonis has struggled with foul trouble, and he even was being hard on himself post-game, saying not to pick up cheap ones. He had a couple frustration fouls he admitted to, but that touch is going to be there. He's been good around the basket, and you got to credit Chicago's defense. They have a top point in the paint defense for a reason, and they showed it last night.
No, not crediting the Bulls with anything. I don't care, Frankie. I'm discrediting the Sacramento Kings. And by the way, you on social media, you're usually very calm and level-headed. But last night, Jason, Frankie saying just a gross collapse from the Kings, inexcusable at this point. Add it to the long list of brutal losses this season, total meltdown. I mean, even our level-headed media members, of which there are a few, even you guys are over this whole thing.
I mean, and it's from a guy that I grew up in this, like I get how it is. And I think that we all knew it wasn't going to be like last year. I think that was something I tried to tell myself coming into this year. It's like, last year was a 1 of 1. They broke the playoff drought. They ended a 17-year stretch, 17 years without making the playoffs. And they won all these accolades, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Rookie First Team, All-NBA. Last year was so special. And it's even more frustrating to look at the standings or the Kings' record. If they would have won last night, they would have had the same exact record through 60 games they had last year. It's very confusing how the records are so similar, but it doesn't feel that way. I think if you were to poll Kings fans, it does not feel similar at all because of the way they're losing these games. And that's the thing. Last year's group, they lost games. They lost, I think, 34 games or 32 games. They just didn't lose them in as devastating or embarrassing fashion in the form of blown losses or facing shorthanded teams. And I think as far as the shorthanded team aspect goes, these are still NBA players. And I think that we're learning that, full force, we're learning the fact that no matter who is missing for an NBA team, there are players capable of causing damage. The 15th guy on the NBA roster is capable of causing damage, and we're seeing it full force this year. So, yeah, frustrating for sure. Obviously, I think like a lot of people that have watched the Kings for a long time, mostly numb to it. But, when you watch things like last night, it does kind of bring that out of you a little bit. It's a little frustrating, and it's kind of just like, here we go again. And it's like I said, a few minutes ago, it's even worse that we're not surprised. Brendan Nunez turned to me and said when they're up by 14, like this feels like things could get hairy in a few minutes, and spot on. Like the game just unraveled right there. It's predictable, and that's the problem. And I think teams around the league are taking note of that as well.
Frankie, I was saying to Dave earlier, and we were talking about this, like I legitimately think they're better away from home, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Look, the arena's great, the crowd's awesome, they're always intense, but they are, I don't know any other way to put it, but it feels like there's just a different body language, a different swagger when they're up 14 or when they're quieting the road crowd. Do you believe the same thing, that they're better away from G1C?
Yeah, it kind of felt like that last year too. I mean, they almost set a franchise record with road wins, and that could go back to the mental aspect too. I think when you look at having to lock it on the road and you're in a different environment and you're having to make sure that you aren't affected by all those elements that come into play, I think that does kind of come into play with this as well. I mean, the Kings at home, they feel comfortable. They sell out every night. The crowd's great. I don't understand how you don't take advantage of that home court advantage. I think a lot of other teams around the league take advantage of that. The Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves down the line. I mean, the Kings last year didn't take advantage of that as well. And I think it kind of comes back to that mental aspect of we're on the road. We have to lock in. Maybe it's a chip on your shoulder mentality. I don't know. Take it what you want. But it does seem like that to me as well, that on the road they seem more energized. They don't let their guard down. It's just mental. I think there's a lot of mental implications at play with what's going on with this team. And, is there time to right this ship? Yeah. I mean, there's been crazy things that have happened. The teams have gone on postseason runs after, things like this happen. The Miami Heat are a team in the East that are always there. I'm not comparing the Kings to the Heat by any means. I'm just saying that there are situations where teams can turn these kinds of situations around and make things happen in April. But I think it's a good problem to have that you're good on the road. But you want to take advantage of these home games because, again, 14 of the final 22 at home. If you don't take advantage of that, you're going to be in the play-in. And that's kind of where the Kings are going right now. They fall from 6th to 7th, and they're 1.5 games back of 5, but they're 2 up from 10. So this is going to be a lot of peaks and valleys over these next 5 weeks.
Frankie Cardicelli, our Sacramento Kings insider for Sacktown Sports, joining us. All right, Frankie, we're at ground level right now talking about this, and we'll return there in just a second. But let's get in the KHT copter and go up to 50,000 feet, which, by the way, would be really high for a helicopter.
Very high.
What's an acceptable season to you? Give me hard benchmarks for you to where you would say, okay, we had a follow-up to last season, as you mentioned, one of one. We followed that up with another successful season. What's the benchmark or benchmarks for you?
Yeah, I really kind of fluctuated on this, and it's something that I've talked about with Chris and Alan and Brendan, and I think that making the first round is just good for continual growth and just, being – you look at what the Denver Nuggets have done, and it took them 5 years. They went through the first round a couple of times. They went to the semifinals, the conference finals. These things take time. I think that expecting the Kings to go from a first-round appearance to the NBA Finals isn't really realistic. And for this group especially, I think that, again, crazy things have happened, but if we're expecting this team to go to the NBA Finals, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed. But I think that a majority of Kings fans will want to see this team just continue to move forward. And I think that making a first-round appearance and putting up a fight, not getting swept, just competing in the first round, to me, would make this a successful season as far as ensuring the growth and forward progress of this group, because this core, there's a window for this group. De'Aaron Fox is 3 years on his contract. Domantas Sabonis has his extension. He's locked in. Mike Brown, 3 more years on his contract. The Kings will have to fight and figure out if they're going to stick with some of these guys like Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, who are on similar contracts as well. But there's a window for this group, and you want to take advantage of that. You don't want to let things slip through your fingers. And I think as far as the future draft implications are taken into account, if the Kings were to finish, I think, outside of 8th in the regular season standings, they lose their pick. I'm not sure if that's 100%, but we were talking about that last night too. You want to make sure that pick to Atlanta, that gets conveyed this year. You don't want to have to go into next year with that draft stipulation hanging over your head. You want to have your draft picks to use to go upgrade the roster if the move presents itself. And to me, I think that means the Kings need to avoid the play-in. So I'm as we're sitting here on, March 6th, I'm a 5th. To me, a first-round appearance is enough in my book to try and chalk it up as a quote-unquote successful season. I want the Kings to make the playoffs. The play-in is a nightmare, and I think any person that's watched wild card baseball in the past for one-game playoffs, it is really not fun watching your team have one game determine your entire season. So I'm looking at a first-round appearance, and again, that changes on a nightly basis, I think, but that's where I'm at today.
Yeah, and I think it's a different feeling if we backtrack for, I don't know, 3 years ago, guys, when the Kings hadn't been in the playoffs and were chasing that play-in, like if they could just get there and they ultimately didn't. Now it would feel like they would fall into the play-in and they could still get to, win and be a playoff team. But I'm with you, Frankie, that the thought of what we've now seen through 60 games would now, I think, enter everybody's mind, knowing that you could have one of these nights where you play beautifully and you're up 20, but you lose that game because they've shown us. I think being in a one-game scenario, if that's their only option, you take it. But if you can avoid that, gosh, they got to do their best to get out of that scenario, because that's just too scary.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, at this point, if we're going through hypotheticals in the play-in, like, does it make more sense for them to be an 8 and play on the road? Does that give them a better chance of securing that 7th seed? Because they've yet to prove that they can be a dangerous home team. And again, I think that a lot of players and teams around the league, they know that Sacramento is a tough place to play, but I think there's a little bit of that stigma that Golden One's a tough place to play. I think it's going away, because you see teams march into Golden One Center and take games. The Detroit Pistons have beat the Kings at Golden One Center this year. There's the Charlotte Hornets. There's a list of games that have gone the other way, and that makes you feel uncertain. There's really no easy way to read this team right now. Like, how would they do in a one-game situation? Again, they could come out and score 135 points on 50% shooting from the field and 40 from 3, or they could come out and score 100 on 30, 60 from the line shooting splits. Like, this team just has the peaks and valleys are incredible with this group, and you really never know what team you're going to get on any given night, which is why, again, the jokes are already starting about how it's going to be the least surprising thing if the Kings come out tomorrow and stomp on the Lakers. It's going to be just another kind of one of those, here we go, the Kings losing the teams beneath them and, beating the teams that are right there with them or around them in the standings. And that's the scary and frustrating part of how this team is currently constructed. And, 22 games, I'm sure we're going to have plenty of more ups and downs in the coming weeks.
I want to go back, Frankie, to your previous answer real quick. And I know you said a couple times even that you've kind of struggled with where you're at. But I am curious, for you to consider it a year of progress or a good season is what I asked. You effectively said be competitive in the first round. And the way the season's shaping up, we don't know what's going to happen, but it's almost certain they're not going to be a 3 seed this year. They're almost certainly going to be a lower seed. And so you're telling me as a Kings fan, and look, man, I don't want to yuck your yum here, but you're telling me as a Kings fan, your benchmark for it being a good or a progressive season is if they're going to have a lower seed and they do exactly what they did last season, which is, I mean, Game 7, Steph Curry, 50 points, a dynasty. That's about as competitive as you can be in a first round. Wouldn't that by default be doggy paddling?
Well, the way I'm looking at it, and I think that my answer changed. My pre-deadline answer was different. My pre-deadline answer was you have to win the first round, because I assume that there are going to be some moves made, and a lot of teams around the Kings made moves and have gotten better this year, and that goes back to even last summer. I mean, the Kings have stood mostly pat since signing Malik Monk in the summer of 2022. There have not been any major roster additions since that move was made. So I think for this group, as currently constructed in July 2022, and we're sitting here in March, I mean, the only other additions they've really made to this rotation are Sasha Vezenkov, who's currently out with an ankle injury. I guess I flip-flopped a little bit, because once the deadline passed and the Kings stood pat, teams around them made those jumps. I mean, at this point, yeah, a first-round appearance doesn't sound too bad for this group that's really spinning its wheels right now. And again, over the long, if we're looking at the big picture stuff, yeah, they're going to have to take some more significant steps forward. They can't just be content with the first round. And, that's me just kind of giving if I want to sit here and give the radio sexy answer and say if the Kings don't make it past the first round, this group needs to be reevaluated. I think they're going to be reevaluated after the season no matter what. I think this roster is currently constructed will not look the same come opening night next year. But for this group right now, who, again, has been the same for a very long time, I think they're showing that they can compete in a first round or even win a first round. That, to me, for this group is a win. And especially when you look at what they're doing right now and how poorly they're playing and how the consistency just is not there. There's no consistency with this group right now.
So you've lowered your expectations. Sorry to interrupt. So just to be clear, you've lowered your expectations from, and you saying they're going to be reevaluated, and I agree. But we also said that going into the summer, and we also said that going into the trade deadline. We expected moves to be made, and they weren't. That's a different conversation. But you have adjusted your expectations based on, in part, a lack of moves since the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else I felt I could do. I mean, this team's, it's the same on paper, but different. And that's because of the product or, the NBA around them. It's just the Western Conference is not the same. It's not the same situation as last year, where the Kings were taking advantage of a conference that I think we can look back on last year now and see that a lot of teams were battling injuries, and the Kings, again, they stayed healthy. They won awards for how healthy they stayed last year, and that really paid dividends. This year, they've had a couple injury bugs pop up, and other teams around the league have not as much as last year, and we're seeing kind of a product of that in the standings. The West is a buzzsaw. There's really no 1 through 10. There's really not one team that you look at and say the Kings are 100% beating them in a playoff series or the play-in. That's just the way I view it personally. I don't see any easy win for the Kings. There are favorable matchups, but every team out there is capable of doing exactly what the Kings did last year, and that's the tough part. But, call it moving the goalposts, call it whatever you want. I mean, to me, I lowered expectations because of the fact that this Kings team has yet to prove they belong in that conversation. That's really, to me, that's what it is. They have yet to prove they belong in that conversation, and that's why I'm looking at it as a team that they make the first round, that's great. But, get to the summer and reevaluate it, and if they choose to stand pat again, that would be not ideal in my opinion, but because if you go through 2 full seasons and a first-round exit to the Golden State Warriors is the best that they have. I mean, that's really just spinning your wheels.
That's Frankie Cardicelli, Kings Insider. We're all frustrated. We're all trying to do our jobs and break down what's going on, and I think one of the most frustrating things in life is when you see that there is an obvious problem, there's an obvious situation, and no matter who the expert you talk to may be, whether it's a media member, a coach, or a player, the most unanimous answer is we don't know what the hell's going on. Mm-hmm. And we're here to try to figure that out and be along with you for the ride. You can read Frankie at sacktownsports.com. You can read him on Twitter, vitriolic, angry Frankie Cardicelli on Twitter, if you will. Well, hey, that's a compliment. You were getting loose last night. Good for you. We need less of straight calm analysis and more freakazoids like me that are throwing things. Not that you were doing that. Any pizza last night, by the way?
No pizza. I'm still trying to beat those allegations, but we'll see for media day next year. I'm staying away from that table.
Are you a pizza guy?
Frankie Cardicelli standing on business right here on Sacktown Sports. Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
All right, take care. That is Frankie. We will take a break. Half hour of the program left. When we come back, we got to get to the bottom of this 3 in the key from last night. We've also got what to watch for you this evening. And then we'll have a crosstalk with Styles and Watkins. We'll take a break. It's Jason Ross, Christopher Lott. I am Carmichael Dave. We're right back on your home of the Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Snatch De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento Weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Tuesday. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies and a cool start to the day as we head through the afternoon on this election day. Might have a stray shower or two, but overall mainly dry with highs in the low 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Get huge savings on our best selection of new Hondas during our Honda President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
One ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at 2hugeshows.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
For beginning golfers, not getting into bad habits gives you a much better chance of enjoying the game and shooting lower scores. John Howells in Golf Monthly says these mistakes should be avoided. First, know your club distances. Take your yardages not from your best or worst shot, but somewhere in the middle. And no dancing allowed. Swaying in the backswing is a common fault, which forces you to compensate in the downswing. Mastering impact. Trust the loft on the club face and don't try to lift the ball. club face control. For right-handers, take care to set the perfect grip with 2 V's between thumb and forefinger pointing to your right shoulder. Bunker shots. Many struggle here because they fail to open the club face before hitting the shot. Turn the club before you take your grip. And finally, learn how to read greens and hole more putts. Even on a miss, putts that miss above the hole offer more chance of holding the putt. Now go out and have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
And we welcome you back. Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross. It's my dog. You hear that? This is here. Let me get the mic closer. This is Gus after last night. You hear that?
What's he wrestling with?
I got his. I have his rope.
Hey, that like teams say, don't let go of the rope.
Don't let go of the rope. That's what the Kings did last night against the Chicago Bulls. And as we do before every single game, we do a little thing called 3 in the Key where we try to predict a few things that are going on. The Kings lost last night. We'll see how Jason, Chris, and I did. Take it away, John Tesh. 3 in the Key. Brought to you by Your Name Here. Call Scott Marsh, 923-6800, and you could sponsor this segment. Jason, how do we do?
Good at business.
The game of golf. Let's see how we did. We were asking because this has been a trouble spot. The Kings are the worst free throw shooting team in the league. Hey, that's a bright spot. They were better last night. We made predictions. Free throws made and attempted. Dave, you said 13 of 19. I said 14 of 22. Chris said 12 of 18. They were 16 of 18.
Pretty good.
Yeah, except for like when they needed that one really late. Barnes did miss one.
Yeah, they missed one.
Anyhow, Malik Monk coming off the amazing game in Minnesota. So we wanted to know how many 3-pointers he would make along with points. Dave, you said 3 threes with 18 points. I said 3 with 19 points. Chris said 4 with 22 points. He had 2 3-pointers and 11 points, none in the second half.
Yeah.
After
fire him.
Yeah,
Send him to the G League.
You fired.
You fired.
Then we asked for a random stat. Carmichael Dave, you said 5 or more 3-pointers by Kevin Huerter. He made 2. That's less than 5, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that. Let me carry the 1. Yeah, less than 5.
Chris said Domantas Sabonis would light the beam. Well, there was no beam lighting. Kings didn't win. And the point of contention from you and Chris Dave is my prediction was Domantas Sabonis, in my random stat, would foul out, which was correct. But you guys didn't like that call. Not a very good call.
Not a very good call. Keegan Murray also had 5 as well. Andre Drummond had 5 fouls in 16 minutes.
Hey, we haven't blamed the officials yet. I don't really have a reason to, but let's blame them.
Kings had 22 fouls called on them to the Bulls 17. So
one-sided. Where's Ralph Nader?
Also, should I have a problem with the fact that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on the Sacramento Kings took more shots than Keegan Murray? Should I have a problem with that? I don't know. He was 3 of 8.
Who were the 5? Sabonis and Fox.
Sabonis, Fox, Huerter, Monk, Lyles.
Well, really no problem with Sabonis, Fox, and Monk.
Yeah.
Huerter, 5 of 9. He wasn't terrible. Lyles had a rough night, 3 of 10.
And to be fair, Keegan was 3 of 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Keegan Murray is a 20-point-a-game scorer masquerading in an
11-point-a-game body.
Yeah. You know, even though he's up to 15.1, and that's great and all, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe next year is the consistency year for him, but 28 against Miami, 21 against Denver, 33 against Miami in their previous game, 27 against Indiana, 32 against Detroit. Like, it's there, right?
Yep.
It's there. We just need 47 against Utah. How could I forget that, guys?
Oof.
All right, so no real winners last night and no real winners today, right?
Stinky.
Yeah, top 10 in action tonight for the Western Conference. The Pelicans will take on the Toronto Raptors in Canada.
Go Raptors.
Go Raptors on that one. The Pacers, they visit the Dallas Mavericks.
Go Pacers.
And the Suns and Nuggets in Denver. That'll be an interesting matchup.
Go Nuggets.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Go Nuggets. And since the Kings aren't playing, let's play a game of who's favored in that one and by how much. Jason Ross, start us off. Nuggets hosting the Phoenix Suns. Who is favored and by how much?
Well, Denver's favored, and we don't know about Booker. I know he missed the last game. He might be out for a little while. So I'm going to say Denver by 8.5.
I'm going to say Denver by 7.5.
Ooh, went the wrong way, Christopher Law. Denver, 9.5.
Whoa.
Wow.
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 Wow. What just happened?
Here, just for fun, Celtics are playing in Cleveland against the Cavaliers.
Okay.
Who's favored and by how much?
No Donovan Mitchell. Boston is rolling. Boston by, I'm going the same number, 8.5.
11.5.
Circle gets the square. We have a correct answer. Boston, 8.5 in Cleveland.
I was actually guessing Cleveland at 11.5.
Oh, were you?
You're only 19 off.
And then finally, just because this kind of caught my eye here, the Knicks are hosting the Hawks.
Hawks.
Who's favored and by how much?
Bang your booty out there, brother. Well, the Knicks have got to be favored unless this is a classic Carmichael Dave trick.
Classic.
I'm gonna go the Knicks by. Let's do it. 8.5. I've had that for 3 straight guesses.
There you go.
Well, Brunson's hurt, right?
Ew.
So I'm gonna say Knicks by 4.5.
Facts got in the way of my guess.
Yeah. The New York Knicks are favored by 2.5 in this one. That surprised me that it was that low. I understand Brunson's out, but 2.5. Also
way off.
Pelicans favored by 9.5 in this one. We also have spring training baseball. Brewers and the Giants.
I don't understand.
Giants by
odds.
1.5. Oh wait, this is different.
Yeah.
You don't understand what?
Baseball odds.
I don't either. It's always weird. It's like Giants 4-5 or whatever. I understand these ones. So let's see here. And boy, what level of degeneratousness do you have to bet on this? 1-800 gambler.
Killing on spring training games.
All right, just for fun, guys.
I only bet spring training baseball and preseason NFL.
I don't know if you guys could do this because it's the plus and minuses one. All right, just straight up. The 2-6 Giants host the 3-6 Brewers. Who's favored?
All of it on the who's favored? I think the Giants are. I don't know why. Just saying it.
Giants minus 150. You'd have to bet $150 to win 100 on the Giants. You'd have to bet 120 to win 100. Or excuse me, if you bet 100, you'd win 120 on the Brewers. So very close. I'm
going to do that. I'm going to bet 100 on each.
I understand spring training games from in person. I'm going down there. I'm just going to sit back and watch some spring training baseball. But somewhere there are people in this world that are like, "Oh, dude, you catching the spring training game later? Oh, split squad, bro, it's going to be amazing." And I don't get it. Like,
bruh,
regular baseball is a slog enough. By the way, have we had our show meeting yet as to what we're going to do for baseball season?
We haven't had that show meeting yet.
No. Okay. Well,
I think we're going to attend all the games.
Yeah, at least that'd be kind of interesting, right? Are
Today's
you
show from Kansas City?
Yeah, exactly. Are you, and last question for the both of you, have you, Jason, you especially, have you started your research yet on March Madness? Excuse me, on the basketball tournament that happens to be this month?
In the third month of the year?
Yes.
Have I started that? I've watched 2 UCLA games this year, so that's my research.
I watched the second half of the Duke North Carolina State game last night.
Ooh, Chris
What
is
did you,
ready.
What did you learn?
Nothing. I was at the gym and I was kind of just going between that and my phone.
Yeah.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I was at Columbia and Brown. I told you guys that. So
That's
really,
why, Dave, when we get to that point, as our resident college basketball expert, you'll have the full breakdowns of these games, I know.
Got to be honest. I mean, I've seen East Coast college basketball this year in person.
Right. I mean, you're our West Coast East scout. What?
I'm basically Dan Fraschilla.
Dan or Fran?
No, Dave.
Dave
Dan.
Fraschilla.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan or Dave?
I'm Dave Billis.
Yeah, you are.
I'd be too angry.
Did you have a fight with him?
Didn't you see he had another contentious interview with somebody last week? The video was making the rounds. We got to get him back on. You know, he has come back on the show since that one interview. Jason, you weren't. I don't think you were. You on the show? Yeah,
I wasn't here then. I didn't work at the station then.
You didn't work at the station then?
It's my hiatus.
That was awkward. Also, the New York Giants will not franchise tag Saquon Barkley as predicted. So, all right, we'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk it up with Styles and Watkins, celebrity birthdays, what day of the week is it, and more. It's Dave, Jason, and Chris. We're right back on Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emron Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than freshly baked and home-delivered crumble cookies.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Yeah. Really piping in the applause. Good morning.
Yes.
How are you? Let's see. I'm looking here live. Alan's just sitting down. Chris is getting his headphones. Good to see we're all prepared.
Yeah, they're scrambling. They're in scramble mode.
Well, while they're scrambling, let me give you this stat here. This is defensive statistics. I'm dealing with Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Davis, and Rudy Gobert. Many say are your defensive player of the year top three. Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert has 35 steals. Anthony Davis, 66. Victor Wembanyama, 72 steals. Rudy Gobert, 128 blocks. Anthony Davis, 145 blocks. Victor Wembanyama, 186 blocks. He's got to be your defensive player of the year, right?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Rudy Gobert's on the number one defense in the league. Big reason.
Rudy Gobert, Schmoody Gobert.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
Good point.
Thank you.
You know what?
Your mind changed.
When you put it that way. Wemby.
Yeah.
Wemby.
It's unbelievably. That is how you win sports radio arguments, people.
It's why you're the best.
Today is National Cheetos Day. Actually, they say Cheese Doodle Day, but screw that. It's a Cheeto, right?
I don't think I've ever had a cheese doodle.
Not a doodle.
I don't think so either. You're a Puffs guy, Jason?
Yes, big time.
I am too.
Yeah.
I'm in
Really?
Puffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You like fall too, don't you?
No, I do not.
Oh.
I'm a summer guy. If you like Puffs, you're a summer guy.
Yeah.
But I'm actually out on. I like cheese puffs, right? But for Cheetos, it's flaming hot or bust. I'm not.
Wow.
The Cheeto fries, those are
Okay.
those are the ones.
I haven't had those.
They're good, really good. They're the flaming hot, but they're just I don't know why
Straight.
they're different. I don't know what exactly is different. I think they might be baked, but
Okay.
they go.
So they're good for you.
They go. Well,
Today is National Multiple Personality Day, Awareness Day, which there's a 100% of Kings thing there, but I won't touch it. And then today is National Absinthe Day. Now, I don't drink, but I've heard of absinthe, and I guess once upon a time it was alleged to have hallucinogenic properties, and it's been called the Green Fairy, the Green Lady, the Green Goddess.
Oh yeah.
Many blame the Green Lady for causing madness, seizures, and low morality. Sounds like, being drunk. One of the final blows was a scandal in 1905 involving a French laborer who had spent the day drinking. His choice was absinthe, and then later that day he murdered his family. Yeah, how about that? It has a strong licorice flavor. It has a strong licorice flavor to it and a high alcohol content. The spirit is often served with ice, a sugar cube placed on a slotted spoon over the glass, and water poured over the sugar. Let's go around the room real quick. I'm already sure Chris has. But what about Watkins and the rest of you? Anyone? Jason, have you tried absinthe?
I have not.
Alan Stiles.
I have, but it's like the softer version that they're allowed to bring to the U.S. So they'll have them in drinks at different places. So I've had it in drinks, but it's not the.
Yeah, that's Absinthe Ultra, I believe. It's a carbonated version they serve in white cans. Diet Absinthe. Chris Watkins.
yeah. No, I've only had it spritzed on drinks before. Never actually consumed.
Oh yeah, I've had it mixed in drinks. I haven't just housed it.
No, I'm saying like they literally have like a spray bottle.
Oh yeah,
it's more for like the aroma.
I've had more.
Yeah.
Than you.
And
it's not a competition, but yes, you have.
final thing from me, Alan, are
I
you?
have that.
Yeah, well, we yeah.
Yeah, I knew you had.
I had the stuff shipped in from Prague that you're not supposed to have.
That's right.
Yeah, but they say it doesn't cause the hallucinations, though. That's all it
Now
myth.
trying to think it was like the copper stills that were poisoning people.
Oh, you didn't do anything weird after you drank it, did you?
No. Oh, I got trapped under my friend's bed.
But no, it wasn't weird. He got trapped.
I woke up and I didn't know where I was, and I was trapped underneath his bed.
Did you do anything weird? No. I mean, I got trapped under my friend's bed and didn't know where I was. But that's not weird for me.
That as I said no.
It was just a Tuesday.
All right. Celebrity birthdays are brought to you by Crumble Cookies. Nope, nothing. Says family and friends. More than Crumble Cookies. Get yourself a Crumble Cookie today. Yum, yum. Crumble Cookies. Jason Ross.
All right. We got a king-centric one here. Happy birthday, Mike.
Bibby.
Bibby.
Brown. Coach Brown.
Think of other Mikes.
He's going to be a hot topic today.
He is.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah.
55.
55? No.
No.
I think he's the big 6-0.
Oh, no.
56.
58.
Carmichael Dave, the closest. 54 today.
Sorry.
No.
Listen to the show.
Happy birthday to former king, briefly, Emmanuel Mudiay.
Oh, that's an interesting one. He was supposed to be a guy.
He was.
What?
26?
He is a guy.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be a dude.
Here's a guy. Trapped under a bed.
Wait a minute. Manny Moods is that's a good guess. I'll say 27.
Yeah. I'll say
I think you're
29.
25.
There's a tie in there. 28 for Emmanuel Mudiay.
Wow, long time ago.
Happy birthday, Brian.
McKnight.
Scalabrini.
Skinner.
Grant. Brian Grant, former king.
Love Brian Grant. Xavier's Brian Grant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian Grant is 50.
I was going to say, I'll say 58.
I'm going to say 55.
I will say the same age as Mike Brown, 54.
Tie between Chris Watkins and Dave. 52 for Brian Grant. Happy birthday, Corey.
Joseph.
Brewer.
There you go. That's the last of our King's connections.
Wow.
How old is Corey Brewer today?
Wasn't he on our 50-point list?
Yes.
Yeah, he had a random 50
he had a
for the
random-
T-Wolves.
yeah, coaching for New Orleans.
There are no threes.
Brew is 43.
Corey Brewer is, we'll say 38.
39.
40.
We have a correct answer. Chris Watkins,
Yeah, dang
38.
right.
Happy birthday,
Shout out
Justin.
Florida.
We're done with Kings. Justin.
Timberlake.
Bieber.
Time.
Verlander.
Justin Fields.
Verlander.
Love that guy.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
Chris and I had a nice conversation last week about Justin Fields.
Okay.
Was it that he has no chance of being successful?
That is exactly what I was saying.
Yes,
Dave.
yes, exactly. And Justin Fields, so young and so talented and possibly a Viking.
He literally has no chance of being successful. Not only is he from Ohio State, who up until Stroud has never had a successful college quarterback, but he also was drafted by the Bears, who have never had, at least since 1950, a successful quarterback.
That's why he's going either Hotlanta or the Vikings. And he's 24, by the way. Sorry, 25. 25.
Oh, he is. I think he is 25.
225s. We have a sweep.
He's 26.
25.
It's probably
or 24.
Oh, 24. We have a correct answer.
24.
Big Alan Carmichael Dave, 25. Justin Fields. Yeah. Happy birthday, Michael.
B. Jordan.
Phelps.
Every time.
Ovala Candy.
Jay Fox.
Irvin. Michael Irvin.
Playmaker went to his party, by the way.
You did?
Did.
Me and Jay.
You survived it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Me and Louis. Yeah, no. Playmaker, honestly, now that we kind of just kicked it,
your buddies.
Yeah, we're a little bit closer now. So Playmaker, I think at this point is he 52?
How are the party favors there?
Favorable.
Yeah.
58.
There was a camel though.
There
was a camel at the party.
A cigarette?
Oh, an actual camel.
Joe.
He's 60.
57.
We have a correct answer. Chris Watkins, 58.
Had to be right eventually.
Michael Irvin.
All right.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, have you guys caught these things going around on the internet where in Chile, when they showed the original Star Wars trilogies, they'd cut to a beer commercial but tie it into the actual movie itself?
I saw you post it. I did not watch.
Dude, these are so great. At one point, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's about to give Luke his dad's lightsaber, and he goes into this little cabinet, and he lifts it up to grab the lightsaber, and instead of grabbing a lightsaber, he grabs a bottle of Cerveza Cristal, and the chorus starts playing, and then they go back into the movie. I think this is a phenomenal idea that we need to incorporate into movies here. No commercials, just product placement.
Mm-hmm. I'm in.
What's coming up on the show today?
Product placement,
where the state of the Kings will land, and Mike Brown. Everybody's complaining about Mike Brown, but what exactly are you complaining about?
Okay, so you guys are going to answer why this team is so inconsistent, and you're going to have answers as to how to fix it, right? Because we couldn't come up with it in 4 hours.
That's right. That's right.
That's just the first.
And his name is Chris Duarte.
All right, Chris Watkins and Michael Irvin's best friend, Alan Stiles, coming up next right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings. Thanks to Chris and Jason. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Light the beam. Bye-bye now.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action.